Whoa! Hey guys, I'm big! No small almo today, but hey, I carry the energy, which is probably what everybody wanted anyway, so yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another stream. My name, of course, is Alma Hexblade, your head guildmaster and chief barista. Happy Friday! Congratulations on getting through another week. Your reward is to watch videos with me and maybe learn something. Hopefully. Well, that's my goal. Ish. We got a good show for you today. A lot of weird shit. A lot of suspicious shit. A lot of, I should not be swearing this often. Lot of good-ish. That's going to be going around. You made it home in time? Oh no! Hallie, I hope you're safe, okay? Be safe. And you know what they say? Duck and cover, it definitely works. Also standing in a doorway, that too. Alright. But it was heckin' terrifying. Weather is messed up, man. Weather is crazy. Okay, so we got a good bunch of stuff today. A couple of our typical funny tech devices. A crime committed with Pepsi. A frog. And chemicals. And anarchy. Generally, just anarchy. So, without further ado, let's get into those videos. We got a bunch of them. All right. So you're gonna have to, there we go. Okay, I got all of them up in a queue. So let me just pull the first one up. You had to drive 70 instead of 120. Yeah, you're supposed to do that in weather. Please don't drive anything faster than that, because you know slowing down in rain is more important. You know, that type of thing. All right. So the first one here is in fact from half as interesting. It is about phones from a certain place that has the main capital of Pyongyang. And this was submitted by Sister Rose. Thank you, Sister Rose. Ah! Hold on, I don't know if you guys have the audio, and I'm probably sure you guys don't, so give me a sec. Oh, no, you guys do. Weird. Okay. Maybe I said that beforehand. Alright. What? No, come on. Hold on. My Steam Deck, my Stream Deck audio setup isn't working right. Oh, there it is. Disconnected from GoXLR app. Of course it is. Give me a sec. I need to load up. There we go.
151. It comes in 3 colors, has a camera that takes photos, a battery that holds electricity, and you can connect it to a full-size keyboard for some reason.
Wow.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Damn, I hate my phone. It's never flown in a circle around a Korean woman's head. This must be the phone for me. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but unfortunately, the Arirang 151 is only sold in North Korea. In fact, North Korea, despite the everything, has a thriving smartphone market. But the kind of phones you find in North Korea and the infrastructure set up to make them work is pretty unique and uniquely terrible.
That's a rebranded
So,
Samsung,
let's
I
talk
think?
about North Korean smartphones. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But mostly the ugly. Smartphones, and cell phones in general, are a pretty new phenomenon in North Korea. Their first major mobile phone network wasn't functional until 2008. Before then, telephone access was pretty limited. There were landlines built in a few parts of the country, but about 90% of them were connected to government offices or other state-owned enterprises, and even for those in the North Korean government who could afford a phone, getting one installed was a lengthy process with stacks of paperwork to justify the phone's purpose and the owner's plan to pay for it. There was briefly a period from 2002 to 2004 where the government tested a small mobile phone network called Sunet using secondhand equipment from Vodafone Hungary, but it was only publicly accessible for about 18 months before Kim Jong-il very nearly got blown up in a train accident near the Chinese border, and they shut the whole thing down. Did the mobile phone network have anything to do with the explosion? Not really, but someone had to get punished for that happening, and that someone was everyone. Fast forward to 2008, and North Korea takes another crack at creating a state-controlled mobile phone network. And by creating, I mean tricking an Egyptian infrastructure company into building them a mobile phone network and then immediately stealing it.
What?
The network is called Koryolink, and it provides North Korea's 15 largest cities, and some railways, with fairly limited 3G coverage. But Koryolink is no ordinary cell network.
It's better than
It's
nothing,
worse.
I guess?
You can only make calls to other North Korean numbers, every phone number starts with these same 8 digits, and it doesn't provide any access whatsoever to the internet. Obviously.
No.
What Koryolink does provide access to, however, is North Korea's completely isolated intranet, Kwangmyong. This is basically just a private network of about 5,000 or so state-sanctioned websites. You can
3G
read the
can be
news,
pretty fast
book a
under good
flight on their
conditions.
tiny, terrible airline, watch propaganda
Yeah.
films on their national streaming service. Really anything.
Yo,
you
they
can
have a
on normal
national
internet
streaming
except for free
service.
expression and Neopets.
That's new.
They still haven't cracked Neopets. But of course, being able to access this veritable treasure trove of sweet content isn't worth much without a smartphone to view it on. So, in 2014, the DPRK released these images of Kim at a brand new smartphone factory to announce that they were manufacturing their very first smartphone, the AS1201.
I'm gonna say this right now as a guess. They are rebranded Samsung phones, and they're too embarrassed to admit that.
Now, normally I'd have to dance around explicitly accusing a foreign government of lying, but North Korea would have to spend like 15% of their GDP.
I just want to see if
so
I'm right.
They're lying. This factory doesn't produce anything, and the AS1201 is almost certainly just an imported and rebranded version of this low-end Chinese Android, the Uniscope U1.
Damn, I was
This
close.
is more or less the case for newer North Korean smartphones as well, like the
I was close. Maybe they actually probably should never. They would have never bought something from South Korea.
Arirang 171 or Samtaesong 8. Basically, there's nothing special about the way these phones
No, that's Samsung.
are built because North Korea
Yeah, no, that's a Samsung.
Song 8. Basically,
That's a Samsung phone. I'm pretty sure. I don't know any other phones that have that UI and a teardrop. I'm pretty sure it's a Samsung phone. This makes things so much more embarrassing.
there's nothing special about the way these phones are built because North Korea probably can't build phones. So what sets these phones apart then is the absolutely crazy software that's running on them. My writer Ben somehow found a version of North Korean Android ripped from a phone called the Pyongyang 2407, and he managed to get this screenshot and a folder of these wallpapers before
Let's go look through the wallpapers.
this happened.
I mean, they're pretty, so.
Fortunately, he didn't have to do that at all, which I told him like 5 times, because a group of German researchers had already managed
Happy
to get it running
41.
without breaking their computers and published all of their findings years ago. So
Oh,
here's what we-
sweet! More
First,
documentation.
the good. These phones come with games. Lots of games.
Hey, well, hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold the fuck up.
The Arirang 151, for example, comes with 5 different versions of Angry Birds, a rip-off version
Oh my god, which ones? Which versions of Angry Birds we got? Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Star Wars. I think that's the first one, and then I'm probably guessing Angry Birds Rio. Is that Sonic down there? Yo, that's Sonic! What the fuck are these? They're North Korean phones.
version of Candy Crush, an emulated copy of Super Mario Galaxy, and an app that seemingly just emits a really loud, high-pitched noise that's supposed to make bugs go away. But the reason these phones come preloaded with enough Angry Birds
Sonic
to last you
Jump.
through the end of Kim's regime is
I
because
wonder what this one is. Oh, it's the Sonic Endless Jumper? Jeez.
there's no way to download new apps yourself. Again, these phones can't access the internet, and Kwangmyong doesn't have any kind of app store. So if you want to get new apps, you have to go to the, well, App Store. But by App Store, I mean the literal physical App Store.
Yo!
This is usually a counter to
App
any other
Store.
retail business, like an electronic store or a food market.
I'm kind of okay
The
with
counters will
this.
have a catalog of different apps they can sell you, which they'll keep on a computer that can transfer the files directly to your phone. All of these apps will already be verified by the DPRK, a process they will
Imagine setting up a business where your entire business model is sideloading apps onto people's phone. That's so good. I'd make money off that too.
have to go through, otherwise the phones literally can't open them. How? Well, fair warning, we're going to get a little technical here, so I'm going to put on a royalty-free football game really small in the corner for everyone in my audience who hates computers. Essentially, the version of Android running on each of these phones checks every single file, every photo, every song, every application for a special kind of encrypted signature before it can open it. There are two kinds of signatures that these phones will accept. A file might be tagged with something called a NATASign, which is an encrypted key that can only be added by the North Korean government and confirms that it doesn't include any dangerous information like how to explode Kim Jong-un or how cool Chicago is.
It's just a signed app.
Is called
That's it.
A self-sign, which can only be added by the device itself, like a photo using the phone's camera, and confirms that the file originated on the device and not from anywhere else. If a file doesn't have one of these two signatures, like say a copy of this video, the phone will automatically delete it as soon as it's opened. This signature system is then, in turn, protected by another program called Red Flag, which constantly runs in the background to check that the signature system hasn't been removed, and also takes a screenshot every time that an application is opened and puts it in a folder that can only be accessed by the government. But, in case that sounded like an empty threat, because...
Imagine requiring signed APKs and having to put that in a phone as a dev. Well, I mean, from what he's describing, they're just signed certificates, right? It's probably just a signed like hash certificate. That's probably it.
Constitution, the phone also comes preloaded with another application called Trace Viewer, whose only purpose is to show you the folder of screenshots that you can't delete or even view, just to prove that your phone is, in fact, actually spying on you. It all makes you grateful to use safe American freedom phones, which as far as I'm concerned, don't spy on me at all, because I can't see the folder of evidence.
Wait, no, don't talk about the Freedom Phone. No. He brought up the Freedom Phone. Do you guys know the Freedom Phone? It was a funny scam that happened recently. Do we want to watch about the Freedom Phone? Shit was bad. Let's just go for the Mr. Who's the Boss one. Because it's so bad.
You think you've seen a scam before, but wait until you see this one. So just last week, a 22-year-old Bitcoin millionaire called Eric Finman announced to the world the Freedom Phone, a fully private millionaire called Eric.
Man genuinely looks like one of the people I've seen at college who like could not care any less about his degree. Oh my god, dude,
Finman.
That's not a beard. Shave it. God.
Announced to the world the Freedom Phone, a fully private smartphone, completely free of censorship and snooping by the big tech companies like Facebook and Twitter,
Yeah, sure.
and at the same time, one that is supposedly comparable to the best smartphones on the market. This thing flew. It almost immediately hit the trending page, and in terms of likes, shares, conversation, people were passionately excited about it, including some pretty well-known influencers who've basically been flew. Passionately excited about it, including
No.
some pretty well-known influencers who've basically been telling people to drop what they're doing and to buy this right now. So I did, quite literally, and paid $500 for a Freedom Phone. So, this has got to be some next-level smartphone, right? After all, the last Freedom Phone we saw was... Oh, right, yeah. Anyways, just to give you a bit of context, Eric's reason for...
Wait, did this say the Freedom Phone? The Freedom 251! No. Literally Fahrenheit 450. Oh. That's so bad. Why is it just called that?
Oh, right. Yeah. Anyways, just to give you a bit of context, Eric's reason for creating this phone was apparently inspired by the Jan 6th riots in the US. You might remember it. Donald Trump lost the election, and so a lot of his supporters stormed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to try and overturn that result. Now, what made this whole thing even more controversial was that a lot of this rioting had been coordinated on a free speech app called
Parler.
And so after all this happened, Google and Apple removed this app from their stores.
I don't even know how Parler was still in the App Store.
This was the pivot point. Eric's whole message is that this was an unacceptable form of censorship, and that people should be able to say the things they want to say and use the apps they want to use. So he's created a phone that allows them to do that. Okay, I mean, I can also
My
see...
favorite part about this justification is, they should be able to say what they want. Believe what they want to believe. Post themselves at the riots, during the riots, and self-reporting. I don't even like these guys, but come on.
This was the pivot point. Eric's whole essay, and
Like-
use the apps they want to use. So, he's created a phone that allows them to do that.
You can always just
Okay,
shut the
I
fuck
mean,
up,
I can
you
also
know?
see the other side of that coin, but yeah, just putting the political premise aside, freedom itself is a fairly easy philosophy to get behind. So, let's see what we're working with here. If you were an uninitiated consumer who didn't really know much about phones but saw the inspirational Twitter video and decided you want to buy, are you actually getting more freedom? Well, sort of. Maybe.
Yes,
The
asterisk,
entire pitch
no.
here rests on this supposed new operating system that he's built, aptly named Freedom OS. It's basically Android, but with a lot of the snooping apps like Google Chrome taken out and replaced with non-snooping alternatives like DuckDuckGo. Bit misleading that he's pitching it like it's some
Okay.
revolutionary software he's built from scratch, but we'll let that slide. And
Yeah.
just to give the guy a little bit of credit, he's not wrong in that there are certain apps that Google has censored. That this phone's app store, called Patriarch, will allow you to download. And the kind of finishing message that he's leaving people with is that Freedom Phone does everything your current phone does, except censor and spam
No.
you.
Wrong, actually. So, one technical thing that I guess is not mentioned that is sort of in here. So, like, one of the bits is that third-party app
This
store.
phone's app store, called Patriarch,
The reason why the third-party app store is there is specifically because they probably got it. It's probably running AOS, the Android open source project, and does not have Google services integrated, whether that be intentional or because they were too lazy to. So it has no access to the Google Play App Store. You couldn't install apps, and there's bits of problems where, there's problems where that happens because some back-end services require Google Play services, like Google, like the location stuff, and maybe just a bit other, like, more fancy features that won't be here. So have fun with that. And man, I feel bad for the kid who, like, knows how to do stuff with computers, and, like, their old, like, parent or, like, grandparent bought this phone and told them to install apps on it. Like, why can't I get on my Facebook? Let me get on my Facebook. Let me see my TikTok. And it did it, and they're just like, I can't. And they bring the phone to the Apple store and complain.
Patriarch, will allow you to download. And the kind of finishing message that he's leaving people with is that Freedom Phone does everything your current phone does, except censor and spy on you. But this is where things start to go wrong. I mean, just to begin with, we can't verify that statement because we've got no idea what it does. There's not a single spec on the website. You don't know what processor you're getting, what cameras, what battery, and instead under each feature category, there's just a buy it now button. Like, even if this is made for people who may not care about the specs, for $500, they should at least be able to know what they're paying for.
I can
All
get a
we have is this
Pixel
little
phone
quote that says,
for like
best
$300.
phone in the world. But
From
who
who?
said that? Is
He
this
did.
guy quoting himself? Also, isn't it just a little ironic, given the whole anti-big tech stance, that this product was announced via a tweet, and then the buy page actively encourages you to sign up to and share using these big tech platforms? But okay, just putting all that aside for a second, the concept of Freedom OS is fine. It's just, from everything we can see so far, it looks almost identical to an already existing free piece of software called Lineage OS. That would be a best case scenario.
He's right, but also not right.
See, this Findin guy's had a pretty interesting story. He basically made a deal with his parents that if he could turn $1,000 into $1 million via investments, they would let him skip college. And he did. He put all of that 1,000 he had into Bitcoin, back when Bitcoin was worth nothing, and when that blew
Said
up,
investments,
his 1,000
not a Ponzi
ballooned
scheme.
into well over 2
But okay.
million. That's all well and good. Congratulations to him. But the point is, it doesn't in any way qualify him to be
I love how Bitcoin has inflated so much where the numbers just are just stupid. Sold 2 Bitcoin. Currently owns 401 of them.
responsible for all of your
Also, punchable face.
data. he might be a little more reputable than 1 or 2 CEOs I know. But seriously, if this guy actually has built his own operating system like he's claiming, then that is a whole other security risk in of itself. Let alone the fact that, can you really rely on Eric Finman to provide you with the regular security updates your phone needs to protect itself? And if
Hey, guess who? What services are needed for the security updates? If you said Google Play services, you're right.
not getting those updates, then having a completely unfiltered app store, where nothing is censored even if it's malware, could create more problems than it solves. This is probably the reason for articles like this.
Bitcoin dork.
A bit harsh, but the point stands that nothing this guy has done so far in his career demonstrates that he is in any way an authority on security.
He has in fact done nothing in his career because he just he basically bought some Bitcoin and waited. He has no career. He just got rich off of dumb luck.
Let alone the fact that...
And people being real weird about crypto.
Who knows what kind of support you're going to get here? There's no contact number for the company, and the only email address doesn't answer. Or at least has left me on red for 3 days straight. Besides, this whole idea of giving people the option to use apps that have been banned, it's not a selling point. If I wanted to download Parler on my Android phone, even though I can't find it on the Google Play Store, all I'd need to do is to rock up to the Parler website and just get it from there, for free. And even this Patri app store itself, we can see from these celebrity endorsement videos what the interface looks like. And that's enough to all but confirm that all this
Facebook's on
is a
there.
rebadged version of an already existing free app. And if you are enjoying this video, then a sub to the channel would be
I don't know what app store that is.
invaluable. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Oh yeah, and let's talk about these celebrity endorsement videos actually. Because as soon as this phone was announced, we saw a whole load of high-profile people drop videos that basically said, this is the best thing since sliced bread. We had Candace Owens, who's an American author, who said,
Freedom phone. Literally, I'm holding a phone that is not controlled by Apple and Google. I think this is like the most amazing thing ever.
yes, Candace.
She said by Apple Google.
So am I.
You need to get this phone.
I don't know, Candace.
Never mind.
Need is a pretty strong word. I need food, I need water, I probably don't need an unknown spec $500 notched rip-off phone, and clearly
such a
neither
bad
do you.
phone
This
looking.
girl spent a good minute talking about how easy it is to switch her SIM over and how it's the first thing she did from her iPhone, and yet her tweets after this video are still coming from an iPhone. Oh yeah, and how could I forget?
You can get 10% off by using just my first name, Candace. If you use the code Candace, if you use the code Candace at checkout.
There are plenty more of these endorsement
Okay.
videos, but probably the funniest one is from a girl called Anna Kate. It's literally 30 minutes of pure gold. I kind of wish I could show you the whole
30
thing, but
minutes?
I'll settle for highlights. For starters, she has no
30
idea
minutes
what
for a paid
it is.
promotion?
It's
Crazy.
Android? I don't think it's an Android. Is it an Android? I'm not really sure.
Well said.
Beep boop.
There is no face recognition, which I love.
What's next? It doesn't make calls, which I love. Face recognition is a useful feature. If you don't like it, you can always turn it off.
So I like that it very much reminds me of an Apple.
Is that like a picture of Hold on, is that like a picture? Is this like a picture of Jesus on like the side? Who is this? Also, the books I love. The Phantom Virus. Jesus. The Killing of Uncle Sam and Killing the Planet. Great. Hold on. I'm curious now. Let's use Google Lens to find out. Is this a framed picture of Jesus? This is in fact a framed picture of Jesus. The Prince of Peace by Akiane. Sweet. Oh, like an actual Jesus. They have Jesus, like specifically just Jesus art. Oh no, it's the one picture, 2 pictures, 3 pictures, 3 pictures. Just he looks like an 80s like album cover.
I gotta get you your Jesus for your Jesus collection.
He looks like an 80s What am I trying to say? He looks like it's like an 80s album cover.
Yeah, like an 80s.
Like it'd be like a solo like for like Journey or something. I don't know.
Why is his hair so short?
I
dude?
don't know.
Or it's like blown back.
it's-
like he's in front of a fan.
That's why I'm saying 80s because his hair is amazing.
Yeah.
I just love that it was like, okay, framed art of Jesus, cool, I guess.
Apple phone?
Apple phone?
It's an Android. Oh, yeah, and don't forget,
If you want to get it, use code KATE. You'll get 10% off.
it doesn't take long to figure out why these people are involved. Turns out the Freedom Phone company has set up an affiliate scheme that pays promoters $50 per sale, which means that,
You get a 10%.
let's say I made a video.
Oh wait, no, that makes sense because it's a 10% discount using the coupon code, and they get a 10% commission back. Easy.
Telling you to drop what you're doing right now and buy it. And let's say 20,000 of you actually went through and placed an order. That would be $1 million. But this is the worst bit. So far, all we've gathered is that all the phone's main selling points aren't really selling points. But this is where it goes from bad product to scam. See, this is an America First phone, right? This thing's entire angle is that your data is yours, get away from spyware, etc. Even the logo is based on a US flag, except it's actually built by a small phone company in China. The one country that Donald Trump, who's almost like the supposed inspiration for this phone, accused of spying. The guy even went as far as to completely ban Chinese Huawei for this exact
But that's
reason. Finland's
Huawei.
justification was that, well, it's impossible to build a phone top to bottom in the US right now, citing the fact that Motorola struggled with this exact same.
What? No, more.
No, it's technically possible. It's just you don't want to pay the price for the labor.
Is it Motorola European?
No, what are you talking about?
What?
Motorola is an American company.
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, they got acquired by Google, and then Google the phone division specifically.
Yeah, the phone division we're talking
Mobility
about. Yeah, no, we're talking about
Motorola
specifically
Mobility.
mobility.
Yeah, they were bought by Google, and then Google, between failing to really make a phone that was super successful and pressure from their partners like Samsung, who were worried Google would favor their own phones over their competition, which look how that turned out. They ended up selling them off to Lenovo. And
Yes.
so Lenovo they're still headquartered in Chicago. Motorola as a company, I don't believe technically exists. It's just a brand that Lenovo owns.
Yeah, I think it's just a brand that they own because Lenovo is just selling Lenovo branded phones now too.
No, well, the Moto brand is
The
like,
Moto
it's
brand
still a
still
lot of the
exists
same-
though.
Yeah, it's the same people, it's the same designers and stuff making same branded products, but their parent company is completely different, and Motorola Mobility as a company does not exist.
Yeah.
And Google
Thing.
kept all the patents.
Yeah.
Hey,
Which
maybe
they
that would
probably
be an
really
issue
wanted.
if
Smart.
you actually built this phone yourself. But it gets worse. In an interview with Daily Beast, he let loose that the company he was working with was in fact UmiDigi, known for their shockingly low cost and absolutely not their reputation for security. Oh, and would you look at that? UmiDigi already has a phone that looks exactly like yours, the A9 Pro. The notch is the
Also,
same, the buttons are the
isn't
same,
there
the
the
camera layout
Purism phone?
exactly the
Isn't
same.
that made in America?
These are
Or am I
not
mistaken?
two different phones.
I don't
so
know.
What you actually mean when you say you worked with UmiDigi is
Yo,
that
$120 off Alibaba.
you
Let's
ordered
go.
1,000 phones for $100 each. I mean, by this logic, Tim Cook and I are best friends because I've been ordering his iPhones for the last 5 years. Just to give you some perspective here, while a company like Samsung might make 20% profit per phone, Xiaomi might make 10% or maybe even 5%, this guy is out here trying to make a 500% markup by only adding features that you can already get for free. Finman has tried to justify this $500 price tag by saying the phone features customized hardware and improved memory, but we know what that really means.
That
He's
means
gone onto the store, clicked this button,
nothing,
and
I
then
guess.
clicked this button. But what makes it even funnier is the fact that the UmiDigi A9 Pro is not even one of the company's current models. It's a phone from 2020, and the chipset inside of it, the MediaTek Helio P60, has been known to be vulnerable to authentication.
MediaTek
bypass
processor.
attacks. This isn't the product of someone who actually cares about privacy. It's the product of someone who's trying to take
they can make
advantage
good
of
stuff,
people
just
who
not for
aren't
this.
as tech savvy and who just don't realize realize that A, the hardware inside is incredibly cheap, and B, that they can get all of these apps that are on here for free anyways. It's tricky.
They don't
people
know
into thinking
that.
they're buying a US-centric device, when actually they might as well have just imported a phone from China and used all the extra money to feed their family for a month. To see the biggest nightmare tech fails, click here.
So how much was that phone again?
$100 in bulk from Alibaba and was
No,
$500.
Okay, because I'm looking at the Librem 5, which is a phone that is probably far more private because it runs Linux and has hardware switches to disable a lot.
And also runs Linux, so people don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck they're doing.
The base version of this is $650 right now.
And there's a payment plan, so that's nice. Oh, it runs Ubuntu Touch?
No, it runs Pure OS, which is their own like OS.
You know,
They also sell on their laptops. I'm sure you could technically put. Oh wait, they have one called the Liberty phone that is made in the USA.
huh?
4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and it costs $2,000.
No.
Which, for the markup, I'm sure they want to have. Oh, you could also get a open PGP card with it if you want for an extra 15. That's kind of neat. I guess somebody probably wants that.
I'm trying to figure. Oh, it's Debian.
Or Debian based.
It's Debian based. That's all I needed to find. Okay, wow, what a tangent. All right, next video. Oh, you submitted this one. Why designing for different cultures is impossible. Parentheses, almost. Yes, a month ago. We have a backlog.
I believe Sister Rose also submitted this later in the month, but
Probably.
it's a good video.
It is a good video.
We submitted it twice.
Yeah. So nice you submitted it twice.
Why is it so hard for talented designers to make great products for developing countries?
Culture. Next question. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's move on to the next video. The next one's about a wedge candy TV. I'm kidding.
Check out this
It's culture. It's going to be more complicated. Let's find out.
incubator.
The
A clever
examples are
design made
great.
almost
It's not
entirely
like
out of
this
car
one.
parts. The headlights provide heat, dashboard fans help with circulation, and signal lights act as emergency alarms. It's 97% less expensive than a standard incubator. This clever design keeps premature babies warm and would save millions of lives across the developing world. It was ranked #1 in Time magazine's 50 Best Inventions of the Year, but the Neo-Nurture incubator never made it into hospitals. In fact, the only baby ever placed inside the device was the one during this promotional photo shoot. How could such a highly praised design fail
No.
so spectacularly?
Oh my god, hello, welcome now. How's you doing? If you want, you can join the Discord, jump in the Discord, we could pop in. We're watching videos about Western design stuff. It's kind of neat. It's a long one, so sit down. Now, what you were doing? What were you playing? And please don't tell me it was Senran Kagura.
Please tell me it was Senran Kagura.
We have differing opinions. Get on Monster Hunter? Oh man, again. Okay.
There is a new one coming out.
There
soon.
is a new one. I'm excited for the new one. Can't wait to play that with friends. All right, let's keep watching this.
The problem was not with the technology. The idea was actually really smart.
Hold up.
Fail so spectacularly. The problem was not.
That's a barbecue girl. That's a barbecue girl.
That's just a design sketch.
That's just a barbecue grill. That's a mailbox. That's a shopping cart. That's a pod. That's straight up just a pod.
Not with the technology. The idea was actually really smart. In developing countries, even the most advanced tech will break down if you don't have the components or technicians to repair it. But spare car parts and skilled mechanics are available all across the developing world. The problem was that the designers were from the US, and they missed some major cultural nuances. They probably thought, hey, people in developing countries improvise with makeshift materials all the time. Let's apply that thinking to an incubator. But it's not that simple. Have you ever seen poorly translated t-shirts from overseas that try to copy luxury brands? They get
Coochie.
this superficial approximation, but they miss the subtleties. Or sometimes they miss it completely. When you're not embedded in the culture, you only get a surface level understanding of it. And that's what's happening with this incubator. The designers thought they had all their bases covered by interviewing people from the developing world, but they still missed a couple of key factors. For example, they overlooked the fact that in many countries, decisions on medical device purchases are made by larger government departments, not individual hospitals, and definitely not the patients themselves. These government organizations don't want to buy a medical device that's made from car parts. They want to be taken seriously. This design is functional and solves a lot of problems around maintaining the device, but it looks cheap and untrustworthy. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. Would you trust a medical device that's made out of spare car parts? Would you trust your baby's life with it? They've seen American TV shows like Grey's Anatomy or The Good Doctor. They know what these devices are supposed to look like. Many hospital owners and doctors would rather have no equipment than something that looks poorly made or ugly. We do this too. This car is perfectly functional, but you're not going to see me driving this to a client meeting or park it out front during a job interview. Whether you like it or not, looks matter. NeoNurture did manage to solve the practical problems of medical devices breaking down, but they failed to consider the cultural underpinnings of who they were designing for. This team...
You know the weird part about this entire thing that's like in the back of my head that I keep thinking about?
What?
Why is this implied that any of the people that this was built for was not part of the design process or had any insight other than the interview?
Maybe I misremember, but I believe he says he did interview people. They did interview people, but they did not interview.
No.
The people would be making the purchasing decision.
No, that's
maintenance techs.
No, what I'm saying is they didn't interview. Interviews are one thing. I mean, somebody on the team was from that culture. That does not appear to be here.
I mean, to be fair, you aren't necessarily going to find an engineer, depending on the size of the culture that you're.
You don't need an engineer. You just need cultural insight, and that can be provided.
They probably got a contractor, or they called some people from his the. I'm sure we could delve deep into this and find the exact reason. And
I just mean more specific. Because like you can just ask somebody on the street about it and then try and do something, but if you you need them part of the development process for insight and active feedback.
Right. I mean, I'm saying
otherwise it is superficial.
They probably hit up a few people and are like, okay, what's the big problem that you're having? And they're like, well, we can't fix these damn things because we have no technicians and the parts take forever to get here. And they're like, bet, we'll make it out of car parts. And they're like, cool idea. And then they go to the money people, and the money people are like, fuck that.
I don't know.
Which is like, kind of the point is like, you're talking to people, but you're not talking to the right people.
That's, I guess so.
Which I get. That one's the least bad.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not talking about the talking to people part. I'm talking about having them be involved. Like,
talking to someone is involving them.
I mean, like, putting them on the design team.
That's pretty uncommon for a lot of companies. They just contract that out. Like, when companies are doing, like, accessibility work for software, unless it's a huge company, they usually don't have anyone internal that does that. They hire contractors
right.
to tell them.
But here's the question now. Did they?
This is too high level of an overview for that, I think.
It was like, the question is, did they? I feel like they didn't.
Actually did redeem themselves, which I'll get to later in the
and
video.
I'm not giving them
First,
I'm not going to give them the
why
benefit of the doubt.
And even ingenious projects for the developing world often fail. This is the play pump. It's a merry-go-round that pumps water as children play with it. It's genius, right? It was going to revolutionize water access in rural Africa and received $16 million in donations to get started. It won several awards and was praised by presidents and politicians. But the play pump was solving the wrong problem in all the wrong ways. The real issue was water scarcity, not the method of pumping it. But even ignoring that, there were other issues. The idea was that kids would play on the merry-go-round and water gets pumped. But this merry-go-round is a Western playground toy. African kids might not feel any cultural connection to it. Plus, one thing that does span all cultures is that kids get bored of their toys. You had children who were forced to keep playing to meet water demands, effectively turning this merry-go-round into a child sweatshop. And also, daily chores
is
are
kinda shaped
heavily
like a
influenced by cultural
sweatshop.
norms. In many African cultures, women are the ones responsible for getting water, but in this case, it put the responsibility on children. The designer showed basically no interest or curiosity in what the user might want. Getting water is an essential everyday task, and hinging it on something as unreliable and sporadic as children playing was a very strange choice. When kids did inevitably get bored of the play pump, adults had to step in. Grown men and women were forced to engage in this weird, perverse version of childlike play just to get access to water. Imagine you were forced to do a choreographed dance every time you wanted a glass of water. That's essentially what Play Pump was doing. And it gets worse. One reporter named Amy Costello traveled to Africa and found the play pumps were breaking down. Now, when a pump fails, it's very serious. Many of these places had no alternative access to water. Also, the play pump often replaced existing hand pumps, which locals preferred because they were more reliable and they were easier to maintain. Each play pump cost $14,000, which is 4 times the cost of a regular hand pump. But the videos of brown children playing on the contraption was too compelling for Western donors to resist. They didn't see the failed technology or the cruel irony of forcing adults to spin a merry-go-round to acquire an essential resource. All they saw
one
was
is one that
smiling
pissed me off.
faces of African children.
Yeah, this one
and
does
promotional
pisses me.
materials.
This one does
The Play
piss me
Pump's
off.
creators had a near religious zeal to make a difference. This passion, while noble, blinded them to their cultural assumptions. Now, to be fair, the Case Foundation, one of the main groups
Like the
behind the
incubator,
project,
you can
did
at least be
acknowledge
like,
their
okay,
failings, which must have been really tough.
this,
But
you
I
know,
couldn't find any
kinda
public
makes sense.
apology directed to the communities they were trying to help in the first place. Only the Western public.
I just
The
keep
Play Pump
seeing
is
this
a
and going,
textbook
like,
example of the wrong solution for the wrong
white
problem
people.
in the wrong context. Other times, designing for other
Dang.
cultures can work extremely well, but not necessarily in the way the original designers intended. Check out these mosquito nets. In poor areas where nothing goes to waste, mosquito nets become
mosquito
soccer
nets.
balls,
Okay.
chicken coops, rope, and even bridal veils. These nets, which are designed and provided by Western nonprofit organizations, are supposed to be draped over beds at night to prevent mosquitoes from biting and spreading malaria. Malaria is a serious disease. It claims 500,000 African lives each year and affects millions more annually. These nets are great for preventing malaria, but they're also great for catching fish. Now, this might sound crazy, but
Yeah.
when you're faced with a choice between feeding your family now and possibly contracting malaria later, it makes a lot of sense. A regular fishing net costs about $50, which is an enormous expense in a place where many live on just a few dollars a day. Traditional reed nets take days to make and are far less effective. But these mosquito nets are wreaking havoc on African fish populations. They have much smaller holes than other fishing nets, so they drag across lake bottoms and destroy marine ecosystems. Plus, they're laced with insecticides like permethrin.
Oh no!
Which is highly toxic to fish. Not only are fish populations at risk, but so are the people relying
Oh no,
on these
people are
water
eating the
sources.
poisoned
A
fish.
study around Lake Tanganyika showed that
Oh, no.
87% of households use mosquito nets to fish. On one hand, people should be free to use tools that are given to them in a way that suits their needs. If they want to use the nets for fishing instead of malaria prevention, that's their choice. One mosquito net fisherman interviewed in a New York Times article actually lost his toddler son to malaria. They're very aware of the risks, far more than we are. But on the other hand, we shouldn't enable the destruction of marine ecosystems. The governments of several African nations have made it illegal to use these nets for fishing, but they lack the resources to enforce the law. Even some local fishermen oppose mosquito net fishing because they've noticed a decline in their daily catch due to ecosystem destruction caused by mosquito net fishing. There's no easy solution for this, but it highlights a critical point. Effective aid is about understanding and respecting local needs and contexts. Mosquito nets are highly effective at preventing malaria, but their use for fishing highlights the importance of ongoing design iterations. We can't impose solutions without considering the intricate realities of the communities we're designing for. When you provide a tool to a different culture, don't be surprised if it's adapted in ways that suit their immediate needs and context. There's one project in particular that makes pretty much every mistake when designing for developing nations.
Oh, here we go, the big
The
boy.
One Laptop Per Child initiative.
Let's go.
One Laptop Per Child,
here we
or
go.
OLPC, was a nonprofit initiative to educate
Can we
students
pause
in the
just for 2
developing
seconds?
world by giving them 100.
Yes.
despite everything, this is kind of a cool project, devoid of all other context and realities that it experienced.
However,
also, I don't remember if he mentions it, but friendly reminder: Steve Jobs wanted to put Mac OS on these things, and the designer rejected it because it wouldn't be open source.
based.
Anyway.
$100 laptops. Now, to be clear, I have a lot of respect when anyone tries to tackle an issue as important as greater access to education. At least they tried, which is more than I can say for pretty much everyone else. But the project was never going to work, and it was their cultural blind spots that caused them to miss the obvious.
Also, the fact that it costed $200 when it was originally advertised as one? There were also business decisions, but like, you know, let's just go with the theory and see what happens.
Signals. The idea for OLPC actually goes back to the 1980s, when the founder Nicholas Negroponte and his mentor Seymour Papert went to rural Senegal to try to teach children to code and use computers. They believed that learning how to use a computer was foundational to educating the developing world. Now, the project fell apart because the Senegalese had no contextual understanding of what a computer was, and perhaps more importantly, there was no good reason to learn how to use a computer or code if you live in rural Senegal. But Negroponte still thought computers were the key to educating the developing world. In his second attempt,
I didn't realize just learn to code was a movement that just started in the 80s, apparently, I guess.
I mean, in fairness, like PCs weren't a thing, so like how could you learn to code unless you went to get a formal computer?
In a specific space with a specific computer in a specific time period.
Yeah, it's like my old boss.
What I'm saying is I feel that it's funny that the same phrase "just learn to code" is still being used now for people who have poor job prospects and is missing the point of their immediate distress.
Yeah, it's like, motherfucker, we don't have electricity. What are you doing?
Just learn to code. I don't have food. Like, we need healthcare. How does this help? Well, it works.
Decades later, Negroponte pitched a concept for a $100 laptop at the World.
I love this vague ass chart in the background. Do you see this? 30 watts, 0 to 50C, 100% humidity, software bundle, networking, IPv4, DHCP, IPv6, HTTP server, 12 volts, build 128.
World Economic
Maybe he's just
Forum.
trying to
This was his
illustrate
big break.
something, I don't know.
And once
it was UPS 12 volts.
again, nobody cared. But Negroponte
Real
still
neoliberalism hours.
So in November of
Yeah,
2005,
which is surprising because
went
it's
to
the
World
80s.
Summit of Information Society, a large event that was sponsored by the United Nations.
You know what's
Kofi
ironic?
Annan, the
There's a lot
Secretary
about
General
it.
of the UN, was
This
on
would probably
stage
have been
during
more
the
successful
presentation of the
today.
laptop. Annan actually broke the prototype. It was a hand crank used to charge the device.
By the way, yes, mainly because we've basically cheapened them so much we can give them away as candy, you know?
Let this be a lesson to all of you. Never let anyone touch a handmade model like this. The person in charge breaks it like half the time, even if you warn them about it. But in spite of this, the world leaders who attended were very impressed by the little $100 laptop. Why was Negroponte's idea able to get funding this time? I think it was two key things. First of
Wait,
all,
it had a non-connected
the
keyboard?
world
Hold
leaders who
up.
attended were very impressed by the
I
little
think it's
$100
that bundle
laptop.
of I could be wrong. I don't know.
Why was
No, because that's a
Wireless, or
what?
is that bundle of cables?
Not because that's the white mouse cable,
Negroponte's idea
and then USB. Like, maybe it's
Bluetooth
disconnected?
keyboards from 05.
Ooh, the future.
able to get funding?
I mean, it also turns into a tablet, so like maybe
Maybe that was the idea.
This time, I think it was two key things. First of all, this conference was more focused on bridging the technological divide between wealthy countries and developing ones, so the audience was more open to listening. But in my opinion, the biggest thing that captured people's imagination was the aesthetic of the design. Negroponte called it the green machine. Everything from the colors to the big yellow handle to the way that the laptop folded out was very playful and approachable. The unusual look captured people's imagination and, more importantly, their attention. Negroponte claimed that 1 minute of turning the yellow crank would give the device 40 minutes of charge, which was very important in places that had no electricity. The most vocal critics at the conference were the African delegation. They were concerned about infrastructure costs, resources diverted from clean water and
Oh my god, they actually had it. Oh look,
Literally had
oh look,
dissenters from
direct
people from the places that you're trying to help.
direct input, direct feedback from the immediate. Like, here's our idea. It's shit. What do we do now?
Or at the
Keep
very
going!
least, nice idea, but we have to do all this other stuff before this becomes a priority.
And then they still did it, and the problem still happened.
Yeah, it's like the fact that you have to crank it to give it power is like, that means they're probably not going to have a reliable internet connection if they don't have reliable electricity.
They don't.
Fuck.
No, it's like, they straight up, one, they don't. Two, the other option is solar panels, which is, during that time, much more expensive.
Yeah.
And then internet, not even internet. Let's think about this too. Think about repairs, and now think about the most likely toxic chemicals in the computer that are going to be thrown out in the wastewater or whatever.
And also the issue of like, okay, aside from education, which
What can you use this for?
yeah, it's like
You've
aside
given
from
them a toy.
typewriter. You've given them a typewriter and a calculator that's electronic.
And they probably have
connect to the internet.
typewriters. And they already have some
They
of
might
these.
not have that, but
Oh, well,
they have the ability to write.
They have the ability to write with their hands and a
Like,
piece of paper.
They're clearly literate. These aren't like
Yeah.
They're just people who have no electricity.
Okay, wait, no.
or
Here's the thing I posit. It's they're not cavemen. Everybody else, in fact, though, is just treating them like cavemen, which is definitely not great.
Well, here's the thing: if they think they're cavemen, it's like, well, okay, how do you? You would think they wouldn't have electricity. I don't know. Maybe they thought like
They already.
I think it's really just this bizarre form of techno optimism.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
This
this
idea
was
just-
early 1980s techno optimism for sure.
No, this is from 2005.
Fuck me. Oh, I thought 20 years ago in my head. No. Oh, psychic
It is 20
damage.
years ago in your head. Your
Oh.
time scale is right, but you're forgetting of what year.
Oh, psychic damage. Oh, I'm dead.
But anyway,
You killed
like,
me.
The benefit we know now, especially that the real power of computers is hooking them up to phone lines and later like
Having them communicate with
broadband.
things.
Yeah, having them talk to each other and like
Using
sure,
the
having
concept of a computer is not like everybody
an
can
isolated PC has its uses for sure, but also like
not
not to that
interconnecting it.
degree. Not the groundbreaking, earth-shattering change, and even then, that change also came about in countries that already had well spread out and basically guaranteed access to long-distance communication over phone lines and fucking electricity.
Yeah. And not a bunch of like and not a lot of need for like not a lot of other social needs asterisk.
Well, like basically just like you're like if you live in assuming you have a home in a Western country,
This is a lot of assumptions, but the assumptions I would say we would have more
99%
confidence
of
in comparison.
99% of the population of the United States in the 80s had access to both electricity and a phone line, which is all you needed to get online and
There.
have like, well, you need a modem, but you know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
You had the foundations, and then
What-
everything else was just the new things you needed.
Should we just keep going? We should keep going.
Yeah.
We're getting distracted.
better
We're getting
schools, and
diverted
machine
out.
obsolescence. But this criticism was mostly ignored. Now, it's very
Oh,
common
hey, what do
that
you
the
know?
People representing the
Hey,
target
Nerf.
user group, developing nations in Africa, were the most skeptical of the idea. This was the first big red flag of the project. Every time something happens that might spell trouble, we're going to add a little red flag to the concern counter. But that red flag didn't seem to matter. Designing for the developing world often fascinates us because it involves creating artifacts that inspire hope for a better future. The device captured
Kindness.
the imagination of the wealthy Western donors, and that was all Negroponte needed to move the project forward. Production was underway. Now, remember the hand crank that Kofi Annan broke during the product demo? They ended up getting rid of that feature entirely, at least not one that shipped while attached.
I love the
to
Dank
the
Pugs
laptop.
music.
Without that hand crank, you need to
Emery, oh my god, more
music.
people. Hello! We're learning. Please, thank you. Take a seat. There's everybody around. Oh my gosh, so many people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anyway, take a seat. We're learning about developing technology in developing nations and stuff. And why when people make stuff and say that it's good for, you know, developing
that it's
nations,
good
it might
for.
not necessarily be great.
Wait, let's take a look at this keyboard real quick. This is like a membrane keyboard with a big fat square inner key.
It's
like
a-
that one fucking what's his name?
It's an ISO keyboard.
I don't know. Square inner key ain't is
That's
it's not
ISO. That's ISO.
No.
Yes,
no,
it is.
No. Look up a picture of an ISO keyboard right now. I will fight you.
Big square. What do you?
Connor, No, that's not a square.
Oh, shut
It
up.
has a little bit that sticks out on the side that's different. Also, if it was an ISO layout, then why does it not have like the rest of the shit it needs?
Membrane
Oh, it
keyboard.
actually supported multiple layouts. English, US, international. Oh, these are just languages. Wait, they had a non-membrane high school edition. And a blank one. What's the high school edition? Can we find pictures of this?
There's no difference. It's just
No, look, they're chiclet keys. On
and
both
they're
models.
ISG. I want to know
Except for the one
something
on the
General
left, the one
Electric
that's
makes.
square.
Let me guess.
The M18 Warthog cannon. We've all seen the Russian Badger YouTube short. I'm sorry to ruin your fun.
I was like, do you know what Rolls-Royce makes?
Wait, what does Rolls Royce make?
Jet
Other
engines.
than cars. Oh,
Also airplane engines.
that's weird because don't they use Porsche engines in their cars? You sure that's Rolls Royce?
Yes.
Is this the same company?
Yes.
Are we sure?
It's the holdings company, I think. Isn't it like machine gun? Yes, there we go. Concorde, Pegasus. It's a Rolls-Royce engine.
But I don't think they put Rolls Royce like V8s in their cars. Which is
No.
weird to me. Which obviously a jet engine's very different.
For the present day manufacturer of automobiles, Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, this is a different company.
Why is it
It's a
named
subsidiary.
the same?
I don't know. We probably have to read through the history of the two companies.
Do you want me to yap with you? If you want, yeah, just drop in the Discord and we can all yap together.
Yeah,
And I'll
okay.
just drop in the lobby, drop into the
I'll
lobby,
move you.
and we'll yeah.
Yeah, this is a subsidiary of BMW.
Oh, there we
They use
go. Oh,
Beamer,
wait
they use
a
Beamer
minute.
engines.
Oh no, there we go. From 1906 to 2003, motor cars were manufactured and marketed under the Rolls-Royce brand by Rolls-Royce Limited and Rolls-Royce
Rolls-Royce
Motors.
Limited.
Rolls-Royce Limited is the aircraft.
I don't see any aircraft in this. Oh wait, no, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess they split it.
They
probably
split.
sold
Also
off the motor
Bulgarian.
division.
Gary, girl, guest. Fuck.
Oh,
Oh,
I
we
can click
got
and
another.
drag that. That's so cool.
Another.
Another yapper. Welcome.
Another one.
Another one. I'm doing an airplane noise now.
I love that one of the keys in this picture is for
Favorite aeroplane.
I just thought of a stupid joke.
So, get me caught up to speed. What exactly am I looking at here? This looks like a VTech
This-
laptop.
This is the
The OLPC.
XO1.
Yeah.
It
Which
is
was
a part of a really naive initiative called the One Laptop Per Child, which like Tom's Shoes, where you could like buy a Tom's shoe and they'd give shoes to some poor person.
Rose, did you want in on this, by the way? I see that you're in there.
Yeah, I can move her over. If you
No, I just don't know if they want to be. I just don't know what's going. I just want a message. But anyway, keep on.
But yeah, the One Laptop Per Child, it was that, but for laptops, and it sent it to poor people in Africa, and they it went very bad. This product was a horrible failure, and its only positives were it contributed a lot to the Linux kernel, and that's it.
Yep. Those are words.
Wait, Alma, do you have your own custom cursor?
Yes, it is of me.
I think she has that somewhere in the server. I don't know.
It's in the art.
Repost
It's a pinned in the art channel.
That is awesome opossum sauce, honestly.
Yeah, it's cute, ain't it?
It is.
Laptop into a power.
Oops. Let's keep going. Let's keep watching about this though.
It involves
Since we got off to a
artifacts that
wild
inspire
ass
hope
tangent.
for a better future. The
getting more
device
alcohol
captured the
here.
imagination
Okay.
of the wealthy Western donors, and that was all Negroponte needed to move the project forward. Production was underway. Now, remember the hand crank that Kofi Annan broke during the product demo? They ended up getting rid of that feature entirely, at least not one that shipped while attached to the laptop. Without that hand crank, you need to plug the laptop into a power source, and many developing countries don't have a widespread electrical infrastructure. So let's add
Yeah.
another red flag to the concern counter.
Oh,
Some more bad
bother.
news.
Oh,
The
bother.
laptop would end up costing $200
Instead of the 100.
But still,
Yeah.
Negroponte and all the
Two of them.
organizations were committed to making this idea work. Let's look at the aesthetics real quick. You've got these generous rounded curves and the bright green bezels. It's clearly inspired by character designs rather than typical consumer electronics, which is something that I really love for a children's
It's just-
laptop.
Heck, curves
It's
and
very
bright green
approachable,
bezels.
but this was
I wish
actually
I
one
was-
of its biggest problems.
I wish I had bright
For
green
example, check out
bezels.
these little Wi-Fi
You
antennas.
are
was a
my
child
They're designed
when
to
I
make
had
the
this.
laptop look like a
If I
cute
was a
little
child and
alien
I had this,
character.
I'd love
The
it.
students would sometimes use these antennae
Like
as
a corset
handles
as a
to
green
carry the
vest.
laptop around, causing them to break off or they drop the laptop
whatever.
accidentally. Because it felt so
Oops.
toyish, students just didn't take the device seriously or take good care of it. Now, this is a great example
Chad is
of a
making
cultural
you so
blind spot.
blind
I
I've
know,
been using
right?
computers most of my life, so I know that you need to be careful with them.
Can't
The
see
playful
shit.
design was great for getting funding from Western donors, but it backfired pretty badly once it was being used by children who had very little exposure to computers. They just saw it as a toy. There was also this crazy idea that you wouldn't have to teach the
Who
kids
would have
what a
thought- did
laptop was or what you could do with it. Here's what Negroponte said about it during one of his
Wait,
conferences.
what?
One of the things people told me about technology, and particularly about laptops in the beginning, was, Nicholas, you can't give a kid a laptop that's connected and walk away. Well, you know what? You can.
Okay. Look, successfully providing
I mean, you can, but they'll just go on Newgrounds. And then, like, that's why we're all here right now.
Here's
I do
for-
not need the kids watching SMBZ.
for
Please.
a 2000s device, this is wrong.
Actually, I say that, but they couldn't use
For-
Newgrounds. This thing probably didn't have Flash.
For an iPhone, this might make more sense because everything, there's buttons. There's very like you touch a thing and it does an interaction. You can intuit that and then have something happen.
So I'll
Laptops
disagree
are a
on this.
lot more complicated.
I disagree, actually. I believe you could hand a child a 2005 era laptops that's stripped down and designed for children to use, and they would figure out how to use it. The problem is what they can do with it.
I meant-
in an environment where electricity and internet connectivity is scarce and inconsistent.
They can't really do anything unless it's already unless there's stuff pre-built in, and then at that point you've now given them a very expensive and overly complicated technology book. You've given them a complicated book.
Yeah, like all the bedroom coders in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, well, maybe less than the 80s, but in the 90s and or maybe less in the 90s, but in the 80s and stuff like they had PCs that you could literally just do whatever you want with, and ample documentation, and also electricity
Yeah, electricity's important.
and a
in
tape
the
drive.
developing world with
This doesn't even have a
technology
tape
goes
drive.
way deeper than just
this-
handing it over to them. A study was done
Yeah.
by Dahlberg Design to understand why people in poor nations barely use the internet. Everyone expected that people weren't using the internet because of technical barriers, but that wasn't the problem at all. It wasn't that they didn't have access to the internet. It was that no one even understood what the internet was. Time and time again, we think that the problem of adopting technologies in the developing world is a problem of access, when it's actually a problem of properly communicating context and metaphor. Let me explain. It's easy for us to forget that the internet arrived to us over several decades in the West.
Tonight, the information superhighway and one of its main thoroughfares, an online network called Internet.
What do President Clinton, conservative radio personality Rush Limbaugh,
I love
and
how
rock star
news reporters
Billy
talk
Idol
about
have in
things
common?
they're so used
They've
to
all got
when it's
electronic
so
mail
fresh.
addresses.
Called internet.
Go back.
to the email addresses.
We've all got
Absolutely.
electronic mail addresses.
Okay, so president@whitehouse.gov probably still exists.
I'm-
I love how the CompuServe one is just numbers. I don't know if that was standard. And then
That's
I don't know
Rush.
about
That's
the last
specifically for Rush Limbaugh. I'm pretty sure
noticed-
he just has one, and This is before
because
usernames.
It's the equivalent of posting your Gmail account to like to the public. It's like literally just a standard email. that you
I
take
also love the
from your
last one.
ISP.
I love the last one because it shows that we actually did use United States top level domains.
Alba, what are you talking about? Zoom. Look at Zoom's domain right now.
I meant like the really specific nonsense, like California.us.
And
Yeah.
SF.
What's
SF?
SF?
San Francisco.
Is it San Francisco, California, United States?
Yes.
Probably.
Gosh.
But Zoom.us is a thing for the US version of Zoom, because fun fact, Zoom's actually a Chinese company.
Huh.
Wouldn't doubt it.
On computer systems linked to the internet.
There are
Computer
several
systems.
metaphors that came with it. Think about it.
What kind of low
The
effort
World
content are
Wide
we?
Web
Hey.
evoked the image of a
Bad
literal
laptops.
spider web
Ba- you know,
spanning the
but-
globe. What
Bad laptops.
This is a low effort. This is amazing effort. It's just a yappy time.
connects the web?
After this,
Hyperlinks,
Alma,
like
do you
links
wanna
in a
make fun
chain,
of the computer this
piecing
guy
together
made?
all the places you want
Do you want to
go.
what?
All these little
See the
metaphors
computer this guy
slowly
made?
embedded themselves
Sure.
into our culture over several years. I remember seeing commercials on TV in the 90s talking about the internet.
Oh my
We had several
god.
school assemblies where people would come in and talk about how it
Yo, the Smithsonian's website.
We had several school
This is poppin'. This is a vibe, honestly.
This is what the kids call straight bussin' TBH.
All right, I just want a comparison.
Ew, it's too modern. Put it back.
It actually
It's
almost
the same building.
it has the same format.
Fun fact: the Smithsonian is 3. They literally let you go in, and you don't have to pay anything for general admission.
Hell
It's
yeah.
actually super
Love the
nice.
Smithsonian.
assemblies where people would come in and talk about how it worked. They called it the information superhighway, which was another metaphor that helped us understand it. This is going to happen again with Starlink, a company that's hoping to offer the internet to the most remote places in the world using a constellation of satellites. It's great that this company is offering the internet to everyone, but nearly 3 billion people have never used the internet even once. Education and contextualization is just as important as access. And that's why you can't
And
just
also
hand
if
out
your
to people
CEO
laptops
isn't a
or
pile
give
of
them
shit.
the internet and expect them to be productive with it. If you can't picture how something works, you're not going to be able to understand how to use it. That's why metaphors matter. Imagine if I was just like, here, use this regular old plumbus. Everyone has a plumbus in their home. It'll change your life.
I'm gonna
forever.
skip the Rick and Morty joke. I hate it.
Literally
Sorry.
what Negroponte is doing when he hands
I
these
get
kids
the
a
joke,
laptop.
but
This
it's
is why
frustrating just
so
to see a
hard
Rick and
design
Morty
for cultures and
video.
context that you're not a part of.
No,
You don't even
I knew it,
realize
but
all
no.
of the skewed perceptions you have about the objects surrounding
Also,
you.
guess
This
you can.
extends
I'm
beyond
streaming it
just the
here
aesthetics
too.
of the
So if you
laptop
want to
idea.
swap
There
over.
were
Oh, you
several
already are
programs that would
watching
show
it. Okay,
kids
never
how to
mind.
code.
Yes,
The device
I
was
already
also
am watching
completely
it.
open source, meaning anyone could customize and edit the software. This was important because people were accusing
I just thought
OLPC
you were
of being
lagging out or
culturally
something.
imperialistic. The laptop's open source software allowed one laptop per child to make a case that the laptop didn't impose Western values.
Base
The thinking
guitar
was
fan art.
if something about the device didn't resonate with certain people, they could customize it to what they wanted. According to Morgan G. Ames, an independent researcher of the OLPC program, almost
Why
no
is the
children
display just
did any coding on
half
the
off?
laptop, though. Once again, there was no cultural
Just
or
learn-
metaphorical
How to fix
grounding
it.
for these things. It's like
Maybe-
handing someone a piano and
Just
saying,
learn to
"It's the
code."
ultimate tool for expression. And I mean, yeah, sure, that's true. If you know how to play piano. This is the creators projecting their own cultural upbringing onto the device. They were the types of kids who loved to code and figure out how electronics worked. They just assumed that this passion was innate to being a child rather than a part of their background and personal preference. Which is weird, because even in the US, a tiny subset of people ever bother to customize open source software, and they have an entire subculture and infrastructure that helps them learn those skills. There wasn't even a system in place to maintain and repair the laptops, or provide any kind of technical support. Papert said in an interview,
They just
"I believe
fucking-
in kid power. Our education systems underestimate kids."
They just fucking yeeted. They just legitimately yeeted them at them and went. This
Yeah,
will not cause any problems.
God, why?
What if your experience was learning computers was the equivalent of like a blind Dark Souls run?
Yeah.
It infantilizes them by assuming they're incompetent. An 8-year-old is capable of doing 90% of tech support, and a 12-year-old 100%. And this is not exploiting the children. It's giving them a powerful learning experience.
I love how I can't even keep it together reading this.
He can't. This is true if your parents have no idea about the internet, but you know how to use an iPhone. What I'm saying is, kids know how to read, and apparently adults don't.
Okay, look, to assume a 12-year-old could repair a laptop with no prior training or contextual understanding is completely delusional. You'd have better odds.
What's that card read? What's that card say? Can you see what the card says?
It says draw 2 cards.
From your deck or Raph, can you come over here? We need somebody to check the rules. Hey. Oh, they're busy. Shit.
and then you get those people and you get them in Warhammer tournaments where the rulebook is the size of a Bible.
Listen, I don't believe Warhammer tournaments are real. I just like to think they're like a code word for like bear meetings, like TBH.
Looks at Bricky.
Warhammer. I don't think Warhammer like tournaments are real. I just really want them to be like, I just want them to be model building, customizing tournaments,
Okay,
like how Gunpla has its competitions.
Yeah. Okay. Like, to be fair,
I just want
like,
that.
Warhammer.
That is
like,
the thing, by the way.
Okay. Like,
good.
Dudes building like Warhammer and painting together is honestly basically just like the most pure form of like American craft yaoi. TBH.
I was gonna say, do American women have knitting, and do American men have Warhammer? Is this the comparison?
You know how they joke about like sword lesbians, like in like the sword lesbians fight, and you know like people are like that's hot.
Sword lesbians aren't a joke; they're real.
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm saying there's this book called The Infinite and the Divine about 2 Necrons that fight each other for like millions of years, and that is yaoi.
I was gonna say, isn't this the one with like gay subtext?
It's one with the autistic dude versus the other autistic dude who are secretly gay for each other, and then they fight the deceiver. Spoilers.
Like every other thing.
Yeah, this is normal in the Warhammer universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a special level of yaoi because one gets pinned under a rock for 3,000 years.
For 3,000 years? That's a long time to be pining and yearning.
Imagine getting made
12,000 because he can control time, and every time he fucks up digging himself out of the rocks, he has to rewind time.
Imagine getting.
Oh, so this is basically just like Mata Homo for like yaoi. Okay, got it.
It is.
Instead, it's like 2 paragraphs instead of like an entire show.
Listen, it's fine. We love toxic.
Oh, don't.
My taxes. What am I supposed to do with that?
I'm an industrial designer, and a big part of my job is understanding how products are assembled. I took the X01 apart, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that a child would never be able to repair this thing without at least some guidance. So where did Papert get this crazy idea? The makers of OLPC believed children were innately creative and that adults were the ones holding them back. They had this idealized image of childhood where kids are inherently creative, fearless, and independent. Like Peter Pan, basically. They thought all kids were like this, but this is a relatively recent Western concept. This shift about children happened about 150 years ago as children in the West were gradually removed from factories and farms, and childhood kind of started to be seen as a time for exploration and learning. Here's another quote by Negroponte that explains more.
We all in this room learned how to walk, how to talk, not by being taught how to talk or taught how to walk, but by interacting with
That's not true.
Having certain results as a consequence of being able to ask for something or being able to stand up and reach it. Whereas,
isn't it crazy how this dude is in fact old enough to have kids and misunderstood how the kid learned?
You know what? I wonder if this dude's well known enough to where we could see if he has children in his Wikipedia.
I mean,
his name was, what was it, Negroponte?
Necroponte.
Nicholas Negroponte.
Is it Nicholas?
That might not be. You want laptop for
I'm just checking this to see if it's the same person. Nicholas Negroponte.
Children. He has one child.
Dimitri
Negroponte. Wait. Check his life. No, we're not gonna find him in there. Close that. We might be looking at some dude's actual LinkedIn.
Docs, everybody. Docsy,
read the Wikipedia. It will say when his children was born. Wait a minute, this dude's dyslexic. You literally weren't taught to read. You're disabled.
Oh
no! It says at the end of early life, it says he has spoken publicly about dyslexia and difficulty in reading.
Imagine fucking up this bad and not recognizing it.
On the one hand, good for him going to MIT.
Good for him for going to MIT. But also, bro,
Can we find where he had his child? Wait, Epstein controversy. What?
Oh, wait. Oh, we got.
Oh no!
According to reporting from MIT Technology Review, in response to controversy of MIT Media Lab accepting funding from Jeffrey Epstein 5 years after Epstein's conviction for sex-trafficking minors, Negroponte told MIT staff, "If you wind back the clock, I would say take it."
I would still say take it.
Said that in funding raising world, these types of occurrences were not out of the ordinary. Well, okay, that's depressing, but probably true.
That's depressing, but true.
That also doesn't justify what you said.
But that saying, his comment supporting the donation, Skip, reportedly left some of his listeners stunned and one person reduced to tears.
Incredible.
Oh, this is like
the
whole.
In 2019.
This isn't a douchebag. This is the whole douchebag carousel.
He doesn't know. The worst was like, he doesn't know. He clearly doesn't know.
This is like just a.
He's so not aware. It's so bad.
How old is this man?
Now?
Yeah. What's his age?
80.
Okay, oh my God, he's ancient. Like, he's older than Biden. So this is literally the textbook definition of a boomer tech bro. He's literally an old man who got a job at MIT, probably fell in love with computers when he was in his 40s or 30s, and then now he's imposing he's literally just doing what Mark Zuckerberg, but he's like over twice his age. He
did nothing about actually. Oh no, this is actually worse. This is not. He actually has no. He has no computer experience.
What?
No. His research. He was a grad for architecture and computer-aided design.
Wait, so he just used it? He used like primordial soup AutoCAD?
Yeah. Let's
keep going. Maybe we'll find something. Wait, he did early research in human-computer interaction virtual reality. So okay, he's not completely inexperienced.
No. That's not you misread that section. He founded the lab to do that. This bit was the group took funding from DARPA and other parts of the Pentagon to explore early computer active research.
Go further.
What happened?
He fucking in Wired, he wrote columns in Wired. He's literally like an ancient thought leader.
Also, thank you, guys.
Silicon Valley.
You're welcome.
Were you so curious about what this did?
Mildly, yes.
Welcome. Do you now understand? I even got.
Hey all, Alma here.
Hey all, Alma here.
This dude is an amazing thought leader because he thought wireless technology would become more popular.
That's it?
And unwired technology, such as television, will become wired. A prediction commonly referred to as the Negroponte switch. Incredible.
Oh my.
This dude literally just acquired enough influence in his career to be able to just get people to sign checks and get in the right places to get people who didn't know any better to sign checks.
Yeah.
That's the most boomer thing I've heard all day.
He was
honestly.
an angel investor in Skype. He sat on the board.
Hey, look, on Wired. I wonder how. He sat on the board of Motorola. What the fuck, man?
There's an advisory board for TT. Wait. He was appointed a 5-member special.
Oh no.
With the objective of assuring the continued journalistic and editorial integrity of the Wall Street Journal.
Oh no.
Other Dow Jones and Company publications. Incredible.
We're crunchy?
Crunch.
I don't think the crunching filter. Oh, you know why? I think that the crunching filter is working anymore, mainly because an OBS update broke all my filters.
Oh no!
So
didn't go back in and fix her audio in OBS.
of course, yeah, I didn't fix anything. Also, side note. So basically, this entire project is run by a boomer tech bro who had no real idea of what was going on and was happy taking money from Epstein. Crazy. Oh, it's in the border.
At about the age 6, we were told to stop learning that way, and that all learning from then on would happen through teaching, whether it's people standing up like I'm doing now, or a book or something.
Negroponte is explaining a learning theory developed by Seymour Papert called constructionism, which claims that children learn most efficiently through self-directed exploration rather than lectures or step-by-step guidance. Okay, I was a design professor for 5 years. Yes, learning by doing things is great, but there are still guardrails. Negroponte claims that there's no teacher when you learn how to walk and talk, but he's wrong. There's no formal lesson plan, but there's still a lot of informal teaching happening. You're observing and being corrected by those around you pretty much constantly. Adults play a major role in shaping children's learning environments, and learning is a profoundly social process. Negroponte and Papert ignore the essential role of parents, teachers, and society in structuring a child's world. Papert emphasized kids as naturally curious and independent learners, but he overlooked how much this depends on a supportive, structured environment, something that many children don't have. Even if we forget the cultural divide, there's an insane amount of infrastructure that you need to build in order to actually have functioning laptops. In Paraguay, a local organization had to install giant WiMAX antennae on top of tall rebar towers to get wireless internet.
Yeah.
They also needed school servers and wireless access points. They even had
God,
to
look how jank that is. I'm sorry. Let's go back.
Yeah, I was gonna pause. I'm like, oh, that's gonna cause a fire.
Also, Paraguay having to literally recreate Aloha Net.
Can I just say that I think the thing that makes this picture even better is that this disaster is on top of a freaking Christmas table.
Oh, you're right. That is a Christmas table.
I bet some Goodwill in like Omaha couldn't sell that, so they shipped it off to Paraguay.
That is such a fire.
Needed school servers and wireless access points. They even had to install power outlets in classrooms to charge laptops. Then
I just realized how
points.
Oh my god, I just realized they basically took a computer power supply, stripped the wiring, added a multimeter, and squeezed all these cables to power the laptops. That's crazy.
That's gore. That's gore of my PC parts.
Oh no. In addition, look, there's even like, they had to make power strips. Like, what the fuck?
They probably had some local electrical engineer who.
No, they
I hope they did.
They had a
have some electrician. I'm the handyman.
Listen, there's already so many things going wrong. What's one more OSHA violation?
Wonder what kind of plugs are.
OSHA violations, okay. It doesn't matter what we do.
I wonder what kind of plugs Uruguay uses.
Paraguay.
Maybe.
It's the two rounded plugs.
Power outlets in classrooms to charge laptops. Then there are the problems of how to use it in a classroom. Teachers weren't given any direction on how the laptop could be used as a tool for learning. One local organization ended up hiring 3 full-time staff and held multiple training sessions for the teachers. Once again, proving that you can't just hand children laptops and expect anything to happen. Basically, the makers of OLPC thought it was the computer that allowed them to learn. But really, there was an entire social, cultural, and personal history that was the backdrop for it. Then there are the issues of durability. Negroponte would toss the laptop on the floor during presentations.
The better product than the 200-pound laptops that you can buy elsewhere. Try doing that with one of the other laptops, okay? And
the laptop is in
Notice
fact
how closed
destroyed.
the laptop before dropping it. That's because the laptop didn't usually break when closed. but it did break while it was open and the screen was exposed. Even the one I have now has a broken screen. Although to be fair, this thing is like 15 years old. The rubberized keyboard cover would eventually wear thin before breaking entirely as well. Notice how this one has a missing key. The charger cables would break, and the trackpad was finicky too. It feels like the device was designed more for flashy, on-stage demos to impress Western donors, rather than for real-life use.
I'm ashamed to say I
understand the
donated to
challenge of
OLPC
building
and
an
own one of these
ultra-durable
laptops.
laptop at that price point in
Oh
2000.
no!
Does
Squid,
it
honey,
work?
No.
Squid, does it work?
Does it work? Can you use it? Technically.
I'm pretty sure you can get like Ubuntu on something on one of those things.
Almost certainly some low-powered Linux distro will work on it. Because it is an Intel chip, no? I could be wrong.
No.
Is it
It works,
ARM-based?
but it has one of those torn keys. Dang.
I mean, yeah, but you could plug in an external Teeb.
Squid. If you can, please.
Yeah, it's a
please
x86
DM
processor.
Please DM me a picture of this travesty.
I want to see it now too.
Yeah, the
Is
girlies
Squid
were
in the-
interested.
Squid's in the chat.
Should we
in the
invite
chat?
Squid to
Squid
the
in the
Discord and
chat.
have them post?
Please.
Squid, hold on. Wait, do you have a command?
Exclamation Discord.
If you have a photo, please join the Discord and post this shit.
I'm out of town. I will DM you.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Enjoy San Diego in the meantime. Oh my god. I can't believe we have this is fun.
If you can
I
find
can't
a
help
more
but think
legit
these
tech
problems could have
tuber,
been
we should
avoided
send
with
it to
some
them.
field testing and some user feedback.
We've had
But
people
Negroponte didn't
No,
believe
we've
in
had
pilot
this does
programs
not
or user
compute. A
testing.
video of this
Here's
does
what he
not
said in
compute
his
do
TED
it.
Talk.
The days of pilot projects are over. When people say, well, we'd like to do 3,000 or 4,000
What?
in our country to see how it works, screw you. Go to the back of the line and someone else will do it. And then when you figure out that this works, you can join as well.
What the fuck?
See, this is what I'm talking about. This dude's like literally just Zuckerberg.
No pilot program. We're not testing it.
Musk.
Send it.
He's a boomer tech bro.
I hate him.
I swear, I just.
Why does this how does this exist throughout generations of somebody just not fucking getting it?
We needed to invent LinkedIn like 40 years sooner so that people like this would just keep their thoughts there and never infect the rest of society.
No, that's worse because you've seen how people post on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is where good content goes to die, as that one dude said.
LinkedIn is where good content goes to die.
Do you
Send it
remember
to
that
people
shit
and
with
pray it
Dude?
works. That is literally the entire that is this entire company.
Listen, I don't mind LinkedIn, but that place is so bad. I'd rather just be linked out.
Yeah, same. I don't. Guesty, I don't know if you've heard about
context for this story.
Guesty, I don't know if you've heard the story of when I was raided by the FBI, but the OLPC laptop I own directly figures into one of the funnier parts of that story.
I mean, I know you've told me about this a few times
What?
because, yeah, Squid has Squid. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't it like you hacked or backdoor into some government computer?
Bro, wait,
during,
hold
like,
up.
The,
Bro.
during like the
Oh,
big
what?
like
Seriously? Oh,
like
oops.
1%er kind of like era of like internet stuff.
Like fucking Occupy Wall Street or something?
I think second one was no. Okay, I knew you did something ridiculous.
Oh, political DDoS thing.
Operation oh,
Payback.
Google that shit later.
Operation Payback. Okay.
All right, I guess we're Googling it now.
Oh, hey. I swear to God.
When was this? What year? 2010.
You can already kill is anonymous related.
Why does it have a picture of an iPod for a DDoS?
Operation Payback started as a retaliation to DDoS attacks on torrent sites.
Oh.
The initial reaction snowballed into a wave of attacks on major pro-copyright, anti-piracy organization, firms, and individuals. The MPAA, Pirate Party UK, and US Pirate Party criticized the attacks. And then WikiLeaks.
United States diplomatic cable leaks. Oh, it's cable. It's WikiLeaks, like the tapping the understanding.
Yeah, WikiLeaks. So, yeah.
I don't know if we should derail it further or not, but I'm deeply interested to hear your personal desire to participate in this.
I try to be nice when I do these videos. I've been
I
part
hope
of
you just
failed
got a
startups,
slap on
so
the
I
wrist.
know how hard it is.
Listen,
And
the problem is
I
the more
want to
people we
believe
get
they were
involved with this, the
genuinely
more we're just
trying
gonna
to do
keep on
something good
yapping
for the
off
world.
topic.
But when
I
I
know,
see
right?
this level of arrogance,
It's more
it's
interesting this
hard for
fucking
me to feel
laptop.
bad for Negroponte and the
We've
OLPC
learned too much
team.
about this
runs
laptop.
so counter.
Again,
Just
this laptop
basic
doesn't look
design
great to me. This
principles,
looks
but
like a
just
VTech
basic
toy,
common
but
sense.
shittier.
I
It
think
reads like
this
a
would actually be
high-pressure
really
sales.
cool if I was a child.
It
as
works.
my first computer.
It works. It's just so significantly more when they're like service developing agents.
I'm so glad I didn't rewatch this video in like the last month since I submitted this because God, I forgot how shit this laptop program was. I already knew it was bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was till this video.
Tactic or something. You can't just give away laptops like Oprah gives away cars. Pilot projects give people the agency to provide input on these initiatives, so there's a better outcome for everyone. After just a few years, more than half of XO1 laptops in one South American school district were broken. Of the laptops that still worked, students barely used them. The playful, charismatic appeal that excited Western audiences didn't resonate with the children they were designing for. They just saw the laptops as clunky toys that were frustrating to use. A lot of these on-the-ground insights would not have been possible without the research of Morgan G. Ames. I read her book, The Charisma Machine, and it was a fascinating read. I highly recommend it. One silver lining is that a lot of the ideas of the XO1 were used in netbooks, a very popular trend that came about in the 2010s. There were these small, inexpensive laptops that were great for browsing the web. Laptops at the time were usually over $1,000, and the fact that OLPC brought the price down so low is seriously impressive and way ahead of its time. Also, the transflective display that would activate in reader mode was actually pretty clever and is being rediscovered as a viable technology for e-readers today.
Oh, here's
in
where
a
he
lot of
plugs his
ways,
own
the technology was pretty amazing. They were just designing for a context they didn't understand. So look, it's not all bad. Remember the infant incubators I mentioned at the beginning of the video? The designers and engineers went back to the drawing board. This time, rather than arrogantly assuming what another culture wants, they instead asked them what they wanted. They helped.
See what I said at the beginning? They did not, in fact, ask. They did not, in fact, get insight from the people that they were the target audience.
I feel like they probably were like, well, what's a problem you have? And they're like, cool,
very
we can
serious
fix that.
disease that's treatable by simply
versus
shining blue
asking
light
what
on
they
the
want.
patient. They worked in collaboration with all of the stakeholders, from patients to manufacturers to hospital equipment purchasers, and ended up designing an effective phototherapy device that has saved 250,000 infants across 25 countries. The biggest problem with designing outside of your cultural context is summed up by my friend Rafi. He said, you can't solve outside of your inherent geography with solutions built in your current geography. In other words, the place you grow up informs the way you see the world, the way you approach problems, and the tools that you use to solve those problems. Your thinking won't always translate well to other cultures and geographies. The projects I've mentioned were addressed using Western mindsets, tools, and philosophies. Imposing your thinking on other cultures usually fails. Now, I'm not saying that designing for the developing world is bad, but it does need to be approached with a lot more humility. You're a guest, you tread lightly and act respectfully. One laptop per child aimed to educate the developing world. But there actually was a simpler solution. This is Leader of Light. It's a light bulb, but it's not like others. It's a clear plastic bottle filled with water and a little bit of bleach to prevent algae growth, installed in the roof of a corrugated metal home. Sunlight refracts through the bottle, providing the equivalent light of a 50-watt light bulb. It's not perfect, but it doesn't require electricity, it lasts for 5 years, and it reduces the need for harmful kerosene or paraffin lanterns. It extends working hours so that people only need to use precious, expensive electric lights at night. One woman in the Philippines said this electricity was a priority, so a 6th grader could study and stay on the honor roll at school. Leader of Light has been installed in hundreds of thousands of homes across the developing world, providing affordable, durable light. It never promised to teach kids to code, just brighten their lives in a simple, modest way. Big shout out to the people who helped me with this video. I interviewed several people from other cultures and social workers who have spent years in underdeveloped areas across the world.
I would sincerely hope that you spoke to people from other cultures. That's talking to people.
Shout out to my friend Kyle Dexheimer, who helped me understand the world of international development.
That is, in fact, just talking to people.
Peace Corps member in Africa, so he probably knows what he's talking about.
Oh, wow.
And also some Discord users.
Plus some Discord users. A light that is useless in the night, but, well, what?
Well, I mean, they
think
just
one
said that they
day-
have electricity. It's just more expensive to use at night, and they're
Do you
probably
think
not
one
studying
day-
homework at night.
Yeah,
If
you're
I
going to
try
bed at
really
night.
Hard, I can be promoted to Discord user professionally.
A professional Discord kitten.
No!
Puppy!
Discord puppy.
Woof woof!
Wow, wow.
Also, I sent you a link to the computer this dude made, which is not for developing nations. It's for people.
Oh, he worked on the DC one? Oh, I see.
He was the, I think, their like head designer or something.
Oh, okay.
DC one. Which seems more honestly like a proof of concept for cool display tech than actually like. Not that it's a bad computer. It's just like.
It seems nice. The case is a little concerning though, but whatever.
This is the iPhone of like e-ink displays.
Yeah.
Although I think it's technically an LCD, but it's meant to be like an e-ink.
It's supposed to be e-ink. It's just like it's readable at night, doesn't cause eye strain.
If I was made of money, I would buy this because it's $729 for an Android tablet.
For Android e-ink tablet.
If I was a writer by profession, maybe, but I'm not.
There are other devices that are fine for that.
Also, it's an Android tablet.
It's not a problem.
Yes, it is.
Moving on.
Almo, what was the last Android tablet you bought? Foldables don't count.
I have my Chromebook.
Okay, when was that made?
I don't know.
Is it that Duet 3 or is it one of the older ones?
It was an older one.
Okay, so
but still close, about 2020 to 2021.
Okay. But that's not an Android tablet. That's a Chromebook.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
I get what you're at.
I'm sorry.
Shush, nerd. Okay, let's see your next video. Next video.
Game Boy Advance video.
Where was it? Oh, this one's from Techmoan. Yay!
Smart typewriter. I think I may have heard of that.
About this
Simulating the evolution.
A Hemingwright smart typewriter? I feel like, yeah. I mean, they have also just regular mechanical typewriters, but, I understand the difference. Candy TV, portable digital TV and radio. A bad idea done badly. Yeah, bad tech. We're on bad tech today.
Oh, okay. We're on a different video than I thought. I didn't scroll by it.
Now here's an unusual little device I found online that I thought might be worth taking a look at, so let's find out if I was...
I paid €120 for this?
Oh, no.
No.
Right, I don't expect it to be good though, but it just intrigued me because, well, whilst it resembles one of those Google or Amazon Assistant devices, it isn't that.
It does look like an Echo Show thing.
Digital television with a 7-inch screen, and that's a touch screen as well, which no doubt activates all the different features, including digital radio reception and FM radio reception and USB multimedia playback.
Okay.
It seems to be a jack of all trades. I'd imagine it's going to be a master of none. It's by
this does seem like a Dank Pods thing.
And the idea of having a digital television.
I'm very excited to see how bad it is.
An admirable one, but you're not going to pick up anything.
Yes.
You saw the fucking speaker I sent you. I saw it at CVS the other day, right?
Yes, it looked like a HomePod.
Okay.
Yes.
The majority of houses just plug in a digital TV down.
A little bit, yeah.
So we'll see how this is going to work. Now it says here it's 1920 by 1080 resolution. There is another sticker on the top here that you won't be able to read, but it says on there 1024 pixels by 600. So I suspect this is just one of these knocked together devices. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. For example,
it just flies.
Effect, whatever that is. And there's a lot of people on the side here.
Phil, just the one.
A lot of
just the
one
one
with the labels peeled off. And that's
I'm not gonna lie, I need that happy candy time on a shirt.
Happy candy time.
Let's see how bad this really is. Maybe
Dolby
I'll be
effect.
pleasantly
It's stereo.
surprised.
Just the one.
Your Captain Obvious comments. Yes, we all know you can stream television, you can stream the radio, and you can play multimedia on a tablet. So why would you want this? Well, you probably don't. Oh, and I'll mention that this does seem to have different SKUs for different locations.
See,
This
very
has
dang
the
pods
appropriate
coded.
digital TV standard here for the UK, but it could do others. And then on the back here, well, of course, I've got
this
DAB
is actually
Plus
a broadcast
radio reception
television.
for the UK. By the way, they can't sell standard DAB radios anymore. They're all DAB Plus. FM, but no sticker on Bluetooth. Now, that seems a bit stingy.
Aw,
I mean, if all the rest of the
man.
stuff's in there, just give me Bluetooth and let it work as a
fiddle-faddles.
Bluetooth speaker. But then again, maybe the speaker sounds
fucking
terrible.
$30
or maybe
AirTag
it
has
has high-quality sound effect. We'll find out which of those two it is. Now, we do have a remote control. I was thinking...
That's an
That looks like a Dollar Tree Roku remote.
Antenna.
Yeah, it looks like it's from a
Yeah,
Fire
I'm sure
TV.
that's going to work. Once we screw
Yeah.
that in, we'll be able to pick up anything from around the world, I'd imagine.
Oh, that's an
Take the
antenna.
screen protective film off, it says here. Now, I don't need to be told twice.
Sexy.
Now, along the top
I'm not
edge,
gonna
we've
lie,
got
I
a
could
power
watch,
button,
like,
a volume
ASMR
up and
videos
down,
of
as
just
well as
that.
quite a
I'm here for
prominent
that.
This
set
is
hole.
a
It doesn't fill you with
zoomed
confidence, but
brown
below there,
color.
we've got this antenna, and then we've
Aerial.
got a socket. Now, that one is labelled as TV.
Okay.
Wait,
So
is
that
this the one
indicates
for
that
radio?
this one
Yeah.
is purely for the radio reception. But if you want to pick up television on this, you're going to have to plug something into there, which of course they've
Oh, it's got a
provided. So
stand.
if you want to pick up TV when you're
You know,
out
you
and
could
about, you've got
probably
to
get a
take both of
nicer
these things with you.
antenna.
We've got the
a more
power
expensive
input,
one if you
an
really wanted
LED, which is
That costs
heavily
more than the
labelled
TV
LED,
itself.
a headphone.
It just says
and
LED.
input for your multimedia.
Nah, you can.
Right, so let's
I
charge
used
it
to
up.
work at a DG. You
Oh,
can
look,
get
the
like a
LED
decent
is
antenna
living
for
up
like
to the hype.
25
Right,
bucks.
let's leave it there for a
Yeah, you
bit.
can get ones that stick to
Okay,
your
well, I've had it
window.
on charge now for a couple of hours, and you can see the light on the back there is still on. I don't know
Well,
whether
it's
it's supposed to
battery
go
powered.
out or change colour. It doesn't
I like
mention
how it's
anything
just
about this
labeled
in the manual. In
LED.
fact, it's a little bit scant on information. It's quite thick, but it's multiple language. I'll just mention one thing it does have at the front here on this specs page, which again skims through things
Sports
quite quickly. I
MPEG
mean, there's
1
no
deck slash
mention
2.
of the screen resolution here, for example.
Slash
but it
4.
does say the battery life is up to 3.5 hours, irrespective of the function that's being used. You can see
And
the video and
H.265,
audio
what?
codecs there.
Crazy.
Pretty much most of the ones that you might need, if not all of them.
The
If we just
future.
have a look through here,
I have a
we can
question.
see
Who's Emma and
audio.
why does she peg?
does bit rates as high as you'd possibly
Ask
need them
the
to go, I'd
Germans.
imagine. And then, as far as video playback goes,
Oh
there's all
my.
those things. And I'm happy to see
Yo, MKVs, we can watch anime.
Oh my
Wait, but it
gosh.
didn't list MP4. It didn't list H.264 support earlier. Why is it listing it here?
AV on there. So,
AVI.
Actually, wait, no, it has no support.
I don't know why they omitted Bluetooth
Ancient
in this
anime
particular one, but
pirates.
nevertheless,
I
let's
can watch
get it up and
anime
running.
on
Now,
this.
you'll notice the
Like
screen
Oh,
free
wow.
YouTube
is
era
already on.
or
That's because
A little bit,
it's
yeah.
a standby. But as soon as you
AVI
touch the
isn't really
screen,
a
it just
thing
comes back on again. To turn it off properly, you
It's
have
like
to hold
MP4
that
kinda
button down.
replaced
Now,
it, and then
I'm going to go
now
through the
later,
scan
like,
process, but I'm going to
MKVs
take this
to an extent.
outside because scanning in here is going to give me poor results. So I think we're better off getting the best results we can and then moving it around after to see how well it can keep up with those signals. Okay, so once in the back garden, I connected up the TV antenna and extended the radio one. And the first thing that was immediately obvious as an issue was not just the extremely reflective nature of the screen, but also the fact that there were very noticeable and distracting vertical lines across its width, which I presume is the touch.
Oh, it's the
screen
touchscreen.
matrix. It's also worth mentioning
oh
that
my
with a fixed
God.
angle screen like
Yeah, it's
this,
a touchscreen.
any problems to do with reflections and viewing angles are difficult to mitigate. Now, a scan for the DAB radio stations brought in all the ones that I'd expect to get in this location. So then I moved on to scanning for digital television.
That's
But
cool.
after multiple
nice.
scans in numerous locations around the garden, I failed to pick up a single
No.
television station. Now, I'm not located on the top of a hill, but I'm also not surrounded by tower blocks. The houses around here have normal sized TV aerials. I suggest that I'm in a pretty typical reception area and I can't pick up a single TV station. Okay, so the digital TV has proven to be a bit of a bust.
No Doctor
Moving on
Who.
then to the FM radio and doing a
No
scan
Doctor
through on this
Who.
one should reveal the stations it's found in this list at the bottom. But you can see it's scanning very quickly there and it hasn't found anything at all. And even try to tune manually to something like 88.9,
FM
which should be
radio.
radio 2, isn't bringing anything up at all. So the FM radio is very poor. Well, useless, in
How the
fact.
fuck do you
But if we
fuck
go
up
back and
FM
try
radio?
DAB, now this one is working.
Like that?
It scanned through, it picked
I
up quite a lot of
guess. I
stations.
bought a like emergency radio that was
Unfortunately, though, it's not getting a good
$50
signal
that does
on
FM
them.
radio
At
just
the top
fine in
left
my
here, I think
home.
this is
This one has
supposed to be a
digital
strength indicator, so it's
audio,
not showing
digital
any
radio or
strength. It is
whatever.
just about
So that's
picking them up.
better.
That
But there's a lot
shouldn't
of burbling
matter.
coming through,
I
break
don't
up on the
know.
audio. I'll just turn this one up and see if you can hear it.
The climate catastrophe as well as the climate emergency, and they all had policies geared perhaps more front and centre to that
That
particular
speaker
issue.
is fucked.
I think part of the issue
Oh, it's getting
might
it
be
got
to do with
crunchy
the way
after
the
8.
antenna is fixed in position here. You can't move it forward from there. Of course, you can tilt it left and right and move it away from the back. But if you want to tilt the antenna more towards you, well, that's not something you can do. You'd have to spin this around to try and get a better signal. And in this room here, I do need a fully articulated antenna to be able to pick up the best signal on things like Radio 4. But it picks up a really strong signal on this little Sony radio, and it gets a nice, clean station with no breakup at all.
And there's a lot of competition because the
Another issue with this is when you want to turn the DAB radio off, it takes a few presses. You think you just press that button on the top, but that turns the screen off, but the radio's still playing. Now you can adjust the volume from here as well, so perhaps they've done that as a power saving measure. But to actually turn the DAB radio off, you have to go home, then that turns the sound off, and then at this point you can put it into standby. Now, the one positive thing I've got to say about this is with regard to the sound quality. The speaker setup here really sounds quite pleasant. That's if you can get anything to play through it. But if you do, it's got a nice, well-rounded sound with plenty of bass, but it's not overpowering. One
It
thing I
does
want to
just
test, though, is
explode
whether or
itself
not it's
after
stereo. I've got
10.
some media files on this USB stick,
Or after
and
8.
so far it feels to me
Well,
like
if
it is
that
just a
SanDisk has
mono
not changed the
array, but
design
I'll
of that
find out in a moment.
Yeah.
Right, now this is a classic. I've got it to play the left-right stereo test. The positive thing is, yes, it is stereo. The negative, they've got the speakers reversed. Just have a listen to this.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Okay, so in this test recording, I've recorded mono audio, but it should be appearing equally through both channels. But now, let's move over so that I'm just talking from the right-hand channel. So it should just now only be showing up on the right, and now let's move it across. So now I should only be showing it on the left.
I can hear it.
Right, let's see what audio file types it can play. So we'll start with an AAC. No. A FLAC.
No.
MP3. This is a 320 kilobits per second MP3. Right, well that worked. OGG. Not supported.
No, OGG Orbis?
Wave. No.
It's open source.
How the
Like,
fuck do you not
no.
support a WAV file?
crazy.
I know it's made by Microsoft, but I'm pretty sure it's just a really commonly supported standard.
They are, yeah. That's what makes things
I'm
so
going into
weirder.
the settings here because
It's
I'm trying to set up the
lossless. It's literally
subtitles.
not
I've just
really
played an
encoded.
MKV file and it automatically displayed subtitles, and there was no option to switch them off either. on
Anime
the device itself
subtitles
through the menus
confirmed.
or from the remote control. So I think I've got to switch them off here in the
I watched
setup.
Gits on this.
So it showed as English, but it definitely wasn't English on the screen. And let's see if there's an off here. There we go. There's an off. Now, out of the video files I was playing, I tried MOV, MP4, and MKV. And the MKV was the only one that was able to play. It's supposed to play all these different media files, and yet I'm struggling with getting it to play anything other than just a couple of them. And it shows up in this little screen to start with. I'll just turn the sound off so it doesn't hit anything. The sound is fine on this, but let's just see. Oh, look, subtitles again.
Wait, why are the subtitles in Russian?
Okay, that's great. See, if I tap on the screen here, there's no buttons here to turn them off. I can turn the sound on and off. But the subtitles are stuck on the screen there. And as I say, there's nothing on this remote that enables you to
Weird,
switch them
right?
off. If I press OK, what does that do? Nothing. Up, down, left, right.
Also an epidemiologist. I presume the
No,
prospect of
it's
a viral
just
pandemic keeps you up
yeah,
at night as well.
useless at MKVs as well, unless you've got one that doesn't have subtitles on it.
Oh,
So
it probably can't play some of the other files because it
okay, I didn't
had
expect
audio
this
that was
gonna be good,
unsupported.
but I didn't think it would be this bad. This is a completely incompetent
That's not
device.
great.
It hardly does anything at all. And the things it does do, it doesn't do right. Well,
I love
one
this
last
incompetent
try. I'm gonna
scrungly,
take it
I'll be
out
real.
into the middle of nowhere and see if I can pick up any digital TV or any FM. Let's have a go.
I love this
Right, now, if
incompetent
this needs an
scrungly so
unobstructed
far.
view in order to pick
It's
any
trying its
TV
best.
signals up, never mind FM. Well, you're not going to get much more unobstructed than this. This is the last hill before Liverpool and the sea and Wales. It goes all the way across from here.
Wait, this guy's
and there's
British?
Not an awful lot behind me either.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Well, no, I kind of suspected. I kind of suspected. It's just.
And finally, it can.
I
I found a
didn't want to believe
location where
it.
this TV works. It picked up 122 different
Oh,
digital
hey, it
TV
picked up radio.
stations, and all the ones from those that I tried work just fine without any signal breakups. Can you see on the screen there that at the moment, well, that's my shirt. I'm trying to get out of the way. That's the European Cup. There's a live match on the TV there.
Although
I
to be
doubt you
fair, they
can
didn't
see
really
it.
advertise it being used outdoors.
But yeah, that's one of the advantages of having a live television signal out in the middle of nowhere. You can watch live TV like a sporting event, but it is a pretty limited use case. And the fact that I'm having trouble seeing the screen as well doesn't really help. All I'm looking at the moment is a reflection of my own bald head. And now it's just started to rain. So I'm going to have to go in. But I think we'll say with this one, it was a terrible idea. I mean, a digital television that's
And it's about to
portable
rain.
is never going to be usable because of the digital TV standard here in the UK. It's just not good enough for a portable device. It wasn't designed for that. It's designed for a big aerial on top of your roof. And this
Wait,
device,
it doesn't
unfortunately,
support digital
is
TV?
hampered by that. But also there was some ridiculous...
Well, it was bad with
there,
digital
like
TV because the British
it won't play
switched over to
hardly any of the
digital.
files it says it will. And
Yeah, but
also the fact
don't know when the
that
British
the
did it, but
speakers
the
were
America-
reversed on
here in
stereo.
America, we
I
did
mean,
it a long
there's just
time
no
ago.
care gone into this. I like the
I
look
don't know.
of the
Device
case.
seems
The
too
sound
modern
quality
for
is all right as well
to be an issue.
when it plays something, but honestly, this is a pretty hopeless device. Anyway, best go in now before everything gets soaked. Right,
Hopeless.
that's it for the moment. As always,
Poor
thanks for
child.
watching.
Poor thing. Poor 120 euro thing.
Screen.
Yeah. It's an overly complicated player. I love it. Mini disc, my beloved.
Have you ever thought about getting a mini disc player?
No, I still need a better record player.
Are you gonna get the Sony hamburger?
You mean the Audio Technica Soundburger? And yes,
Yeah, Soundburger.
I want the
know there's a
Soundburger.
Sony equivalent, but my understanding is literally all of those are extremely overpriced on eBay.
I mean,
Sony
listen, a record player is only as good as the
Soundburger?
library. What the hell are you listening to on it?
Oh, hold on. Let me turn around and check. A lot of video game OSTs, and also for some reason John Coltrane's Giant Steps.
I was so down for Giant Steps.
That's the only non-video game or anime-related thing in my record collection is just a copy of John Coltrane's Giant Steps because I saw it, thought it was funny in my head, and bought it.
I actually
You were
went
such a nerd. I can't not kiss you.
I actually went to Target and I did see some vinyls, and it was just like a single shelf with like 4 vinyls on it, and the only one that I recognized was Starboy.
Yeah, there's like new releases.
Starboy isn't new. That song's like almost a decade.
No,
old.
I meant,
Their album.
and like if you went to Target, they'd be new releases only, and then maybe
ton, but
the classical usual thing that everybody else has. Also, yeah, that's like the only non-video game, non-anime TV show soundtrack that I have there.
I mean, let's say if you need records, just ask me. I have plenty of shops around here.
Heck yeah. Okay. Next video. This one's dummy and silly. This one's stupid. Guess, do you know anything about cars?
A little bit.
I know that I need to wear my glasses in my car, apparently.
Yeah, you should. Holy
Please
crap.
do that.
She did not do that, according to what she told me before stream.
Yeah, so I usually forget something before I leave the door. So I was more preoccupied making sure the cat didn't get out the door. So I forgot my glasses while driving tonight.
So real quick, are you nearsighted or farsighted?
Nearsighted.
Like, so you see well close up, but you have difficulty seeing far away.
Yes.
And is that generally or only for reading?
Generally by this point.
Okay, so why were you just not wearing your glasses in general?
I have this wonderful thing called ADHD. I have
You
the
don't
object
just-
permanence
you don't
of a
just-
2-month-old.
Okay, but I like. Okay, I don't have ADHD, but like for me, I wake up, I put on my glasses, and they stay on unless I'm showering or sleeping.
See, I've been wearing them so much this week because I'm having.
Wait, isn't keeping them on while showering also a problem? Hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, if your glasses are made out of plastic or like even just a
Listen,
metal that doesn't
listen.
oxidize easily, that should be.
Point is, I forgot it. It was only like 30 minutes. I'm okay. I know the area I'm driving in because it's literally right next to home. And the worst that can happen is I can maybe sort of read speed limits, and I can barely maybe make out like a letter on a street.
I feel like we should stop and move on before she just starts self-incriminating.
As long as you can see the big blur, as long as you can see the big blur and detect movement, I think you're okay.
As long as you have the.
What do you mean?
Anyway, car.
Anyway, car.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, so why?
Oh, hell yeah.
Why Pepsi?
Garbage time.
Bad time.
This isn't even his best video. I was like, you said you're gonna report the video.
About like driving without your glasses is important.
Fans.
That's important. You need to see when you're driving.
Yes,
I mean,
that's important.
Yeah, believe me, I only forgot them today.
That's why in this country we let blind people have guns but not cars.
Listen, I drove home with glasses on. Be proud of me, okay?
That doesn't tell me anything. I don't know how far that is.
I am proud of
I
you.
drove like 8 hours today.
Fuck, that's terrifying.
Listen, I'm what the kids call a trooper, okay?
I thought you were gonna say a trucker.
No, I'm not into trucking that much. I am into, F-trucking, though. For trucking, as it were. But then, like, drop the TR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, bad ideas.
Mate, I'm a second-generation nuggeteer. My father was a nuggeteer. And my father's father absolutely was not. He wouldn't tolerate this kind of lifestyle. We lived in the country. We just drove anything that kind of worked. And on more than one occasion where like a Welsh plug blows and you just got to put fluid in it to get it home. Towing is not an option. Oh no, I've always fantasized. What if you pulled up to like a fast food place with like an endless refill fountain and you just keep getting cups of whatever and you fill up your... Of course we're using the goober. The goober's the only one I want to be filled with Pepsi.
Be very cheap.
0.5 health star rating. It's clearly an industrial solvent or industrial. Fill up your... Of course we're using the goober.
50 HP.
What
be
did you
very
expect?
cheap. It's Car, Nugget Pokemon, basic Pokemon. What did you expect? Weakness +10 fighting and resistance -10 for psychic.
Yeah.
So it's immune to psychic damage. Cool.
It causes psychic damage.
True.
True.
The goober's the only one I want to be filled with
too dumb
Pepsi.
to take psychic
0.5 health star rating. It's clearly an industrial solvent or industrial coolant. How'd you get it? Yep. Ah, oh, what color is it? Whoa, it's green. It's super clear. I'm really excited about this because this is going to be a long-term experiment.
Why are you recording the car
Pepsi ain't
pissing?
coming
This
out
feels like
until
a
the
violation
goober
of his
succumbs
privacy.
to the Pepsi. And James, you think
He's
it's
the
going to be
goober. He's
corrosion
okay
that's
with
going to
it.
get it, but not for a long
I
time.
remember the goober should be into voyeurism.
Yeah, like what, years?
Maybe.
I purposely picked regular Pepsi, not Pepsi Max Type, because of the sugar. And I think the sugar's going to cook on like the cylinder walls, like where it gets really hot. And
We're just going
big
to
chunks
destroy
of
the
sugar are
car.
going to block up the radiator and it's going to blow its head off. If it was
This is
Pepsi
why
Max though,
Australia's
then I'd
my
agree with
favorite
corrosion. Because I mean, color is acidic. I'm so glad they changed their logo back. Gosh, ridiculous looking smiley face. Like, why would you spoil this logo? Now the responsible thing to do would be to burp all the carbonation out of this, because like air bubbles in your cooling system is cold death. But I think in the spirit of the Pepsi, we're just going to pour it straight in and then just burp the engine for like half an hour. I want to see Pepsi spraying into the overflow bottle. That's what I want to see. James has noticed that...
Isn't this a great idea?
That's far more alarming than the Pepsi we're going to be adding. Well, it's a good thing this is acidic. We're going to clean it all out. In goes the Pepsi.
Drink up.
You've been using a funnel.
Oh, it's going to make such a sticky mess.
Drink up.
Cleaning off that oil residue.
I'm gonna feed you
That fill
Pepsi.
hole is.
Glug,
Yeah,
glug,
that's why
glug,
I'm
glug,
going
glug.
slow.
I did
Nah,
have
go
the girl
for it.
come
I
Pepsi.
don't want to.
Yeah.
That was a weird noise.
You mean
Wow,
Pepsi
the
Nitro?
noises this thing's making.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
Oh, it's going to be so sticky.
think we had the
bought 8
vanilla one
liters,
too,
but
didn't
James,
We had the vanilla one.
James's confidence is not going to take
It's a bump.
I haven't finished the first 2 liters.
Oh, we have so much Pepsi. There's so much air in it. Fill up the overflow. Overflow. Yeah, dump it in. I want to see that. I want to see that foam. Oh.
I didn't have enough to dump it in.
Do I fire it up?
Sure.
First fire up with the Pepsi. Wow, there's scunge on top. Nothing. Well, we're
The
gonna wait
s'mores
for the
Pepsi where they made a
thermostat to
chocolate
open, I
flavor,
guess. Oh,
graham
we
cracker, and
suck
marshmallow
so
flavor, and
much.
they expect you to
Goodness
mix
leaking
them?
oil.
What the
Really
fuck?
bad. We're just gonna warm it up.
I suspect that the
to Pepsi.
pink
I bet you
Pepsi
there's
is pretty much
no
just the marshmallow
Pepsi in the
Pepsi
block yet.
rebottled.
Our Pepsi coolant
Yeah.
levels are still low.
You know,
Oh, we're
that
gonna have
was
so much Pepsi everywhere. It's just slowly pushing it out. Let's put the cap on.
Like, you ever see that bumper
Yeah,
sticker that's like, my car's a hybrid, it burns petrol and
was it hot?
oil?
No, it
Jesus.
went into the fan and went. Oh, okay. We've now sealed the Pepsi.
For those who don't know, that means
just
your
gonna
car
wait
is
for the
shit
Pepsi to
and
make
bad.
noises. Or the temperature to go off the end of the scale. Oh, I bought too much Pepsi.
S'mores
I
Pepsi.
PC'd into
I
the
bought
smell
too
of
much
burning
Pepsi.
coolant. I get a whiff and I just
might
go,
need
oh
photos
no,
of
so I'm
this.
just so
I feel
I'm
like
a
this is
nugget
something
here.
he may have made up.
There's like some
I'm also
Pepsi
in
to spray in
denial.
the exhaust manifold.
No, it
James picked
exists.
up on it. It smells like fairy floss. This is
Fairy
nice.
floss? Really?
I think that's what they call cotton candy.
Yes.
No, I know. I know it's what they call cotton candy. It's just whimsical to hear it.
Pepsi's warming up. If you've ever wondered what a Pepsi ocean would look like, well, there you go.
Ooh, vibration.
It looks like a Primus music video.
You can make your ideal mix of s'mores Pepsi by mixing the flavors, but who would want to make s'mores Pepsi?
We're up
When,
to
what
3.
year
Alba.
was this?
Alba.
What
Alba.
level
I would,
of, like,
once.
cocaine intake were the marketing people at Pepsi
We're
having?
getting there.
Almy Wowie.
Thermofans
Yes.
yet, so we're not
This is
up to
basically the
that point.
McDLT of soda.
This is the best smelling engine bay ever. It smells great.
McDLT is
look
the
it
one
up.
in the styrofoam.
Oh,
It came out 2 years ago.
they're just
That's
shit.
it, that sounds about right.
We're
Yeah,
just shit posting now.
No,
Yeah, we're
no,
just shit
it's not
posting now.
good. Ooh, a little bit was fine, but that was.
So
was
is Dank
burning
Pods. He
Pepsi.
literally just
That wasn't
poured
fairy
Pepsi on
floss.
it.
You're topping
Into
it
a
up.
locker.
There's heaps in there. I can hear hissing and gurgling noises. Still sitting at 3, which is about where it should be. We shouldn't be seeing 4, so this is fine.
Duo of just drive around the
I
block.
hope there's not a huge air pocket that's stopping everything from moving. Because honestly, not a lot of gas came out after it poured in. It just kind of went in, went up to the top and stopped. We're now
Look at the
investigating
fucking
how much
heat coming
coolant
off
actually
of it.
came out.
That looks like more than 2 liters to me.
That's a lot more than 2 liters. Do we turn it off?
Do we turn it off? No.
This is
I love
why
these
you don't
guys.
use
They're
Pepsi.
idiots. I love them.
It's full. I can
Oh.
see.
Between this
yeah,
and
we don't
the
have
other
circulation
like
yet, not
Australian
really
car
right now, so
dude I've seen on YouTube, I have to assume that this is just how all Australian car nerds are.
It's also a really cold day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really cold. All the Europeans are giggling at us. Oh, I wonder what sticky residue all this hot Pepsi's gonna leave. Oh, what kind of sticky residue is being left inside of this cam probe? I know for sure that it doesn't have enough coolant in it. I mean, Pepsi. I mean, that's all the Pepsi that's spilt down inside of there steaming off. I think. It must be. I mean, it hasn't stopped
It could be the
steaming for a while.
carbonation. You never know.
Yeah, it stinks. It's
Why
not
hasn't this
very nice.
exploded yet?
Is that still cold?
It's
The
still a
goober is
liquid.
doing its best.
Good.
Like Pepsi is mostly
something
water,
moving
right?
around.
Yeah, but there's still
Much gas trapped in here.
It's
I
a
know
really
it.
inefficient coolant. for
there's
this
CO2
purpose, but it does
still
work.
in it.
That'll leak out. It's not airtight.
Still no thermofans. That's very strange. And gosh, that won't stop steaming or smoking.
Oh my god.
Where we at?
If it was airtight, we wouldn't see the steam.
Hey!
Oh, there we go. Fans for the
We
radio are
got
on now.
full circulation of Pepsi. There's not enough in it though.
I think it's just the overflow, but I didn't fill up as much.
That's literally a Pepsi gauge now. It's literally telling us the temperature of a near boiling belly full of Pepsi. The thermofans even clicked off. That's proof that the Pepsi is cooling the engine. Got the heater on full blast. Oh, and learning that the fuel gauge is effed. It was reading nothing, and now it's nearly full again. It's all over the place. But now I've got to turn off and let it
That's
come down.
broken for different reasons.
And see what the Pepsi do, because there's not enough Pepsi in it. It's only 2 liters. It's very suspicious. We had that running for
More
ages,
Pepsi.
like properly ages, and it's fine. I was expecting gurgling and burping noises like into the overflow. Nothing. It's so suspicious. It just took the Pepsi and it's gone, thank you. Thank you for the Pepsi. Alright, so we think it's cooled enough?
Thank you for the Pepsi.
Nugget too dumb to realize Pepsi bad cooler.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
I think
I'll
oh.
top it up a bit. Yeah, the Pepsi's low.
Yeah, it's low.
Can use some more Pepsi. Yeah. I like that as it opened, it went psst. Whew, lucky we got heaps of Pepsi.
More Pepsi.
I reckon like another at least half a liter, then I'll feel more comfortable about this.
It's fizzing.
It's Pepsi.
Fucking
It's fizzing. It's Pepsi.
Yeah, and it leaves a real sticky residue as well.
I reckon we got another half a liter in there.
Cruising on the highway.
About the Yuri of this
Pepsi
all.
temps are looking
Yeah.
good. It's never hit 4 yet.
The inherent Yuri of pouring Pepsi in a car radio.
And having it
Don't worry, we
dribble
brought
out
extra
of her
coolant in
mouth.
case we lose some. Welcome to South Road.
Crazy Yuri going on right now.
We're stuck on South Road for a long time, running the Pepsi. Nearly all the cars are white, black, or silver. White. Oh, E-Series. Blue, red, all the colors. Oh, now those are the only colors.
Filling the hole
People
with
are very
Pepsi.
creative. We're the only ones sitting in a blue goober.
I love inherent Yuri. I love inherent Yuri. It's my favorite type of
Green
Yuri.
is not common.
Other than
And a
just
lot of
Yuri.
greens are very, very dark green, like borderlining on black kind of.
How is this Yuri if there's no super?
think he's gone. Oh, there's red. What are you? Oh, it's another 40.
That joke was funny to somebody.
Oh wow, the cheap LEDs that the BYDs have.
They might not be
That's
watching this
iPhone
video, but
cameras.
they'd laugh at it.
Oh,
That's okay,
yeah.
you did your best.
You did a
Feeling
good
that
job.
Pepsi. So the Pepsi journey's gone so good. Like we ran hours worth of errands in traffic, sitting idling, and we flogged the goober. We give it no mercy all the time. It's gone too well. Everything's fine. You can't even tell that it's full of Pepsi. So I'm sacrificing the workplace kettle
Full of
to
Pepsi.
boil some Pepsi. I need to know what is
Arrow pointing to me, full of Pepsi.
I don't know why. I just want to see boiling Pepsi now.
Can't believe they finally
Is that
made
enough?
line shoot.
Nah, put all of it in.
All of it,
I
alright.
want a big vat of boiling Pepsi.
There you go.
So long, office kettle. Now we wait.
Bubble, bubble, boiling
There's nothing more memey than just boiling Pepsi. I need to announce it to guests.
Cauldron boil and Pepsi bubble.
Cooked sugar though, we know that's like 130 something, isn't it? And cars.
No, that was like 180.
Why is this not boiling?
Up to like 130. This one won't.
It's not
This one
water.
won't get up
It's
to
not gonna
100
boil.
probably.
It's not water, it's Pepsi.
The hottest parts on the motor though? Because that's the coolant temp, but the
It's a
metal temperature.
proprietary formula.
Yeah, but then what-
It's not even water anymore. It's something unique.
before it's starting to boil regardless.
It
Even
is.
That's relying on the coolant and the pressurization.
It's a Pepsi pressure.
It's
test.
water
Yeah.
with syrup.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. I mean, it's been making noises the whole time because of
carbonated
carbonation.
water.
I just can't wait for the rolling boil. Oh no, is it gonna spill over? Is it gonna go?
I thought the car would do that. Maybe the bubbles just go away when it gets hot.
I'm learning so much about Pepsi. Sound is strange. I mean, because it's still very
See,
carbonated.
this is what we should have been taught in high
This looks
school.
like a fresh thing.
What happens if you put Pepsi in a hot water kettle?
Inside. It looks like just like a glass of Pepsi. Gosh, this would be upsetting the sip. As it reaches your face and you feel the hot, that just.
You know what's happening, don't you?
What?
We're gonna have to try it.
I've had boiled Gatorade before. It's not that bad.
It's not frothing up.
Oh, have you seen Gator
Smelling
wine?
like Pepsi.
Yep.
I haven't.
there it
Show me the
goes.
wine.
I
sent this to Alma.
That's
yeah,
boiling
it's cursed. Oh, it's boiling for real now. Oh my God, look at it. It's so violent.
It's churning.
Oh, that's violent.
Put it on again.
It's not done until I say it's done.
Yeah, James is doing this technique. Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa! Whoa! Yep.
I turned it off.
Yeah. Good thing you got your finger out of there.
It does bubble up.
It's violent. It smells like cola show lollies. I mean, to make that sense that, you know, the people in America, it's like fairground.
Oh,
cheap.
it does too.
Yeah, it
Essentially,
smells
Gator
like
wine.
cheap knockoff cola-flavored lolly things.
Yeah.
Wow, what a dark witch's brew.
It is dark.
You wow. Oh, and they're cut cool. They're
Beer.
mugs. Excellent. So, I mean, I know there's cultures that like hot water. I've tried it. It's not bad. It just looks like tea.
It looks like tea.
Frank, your British friend, boil some Pepsi and serve it to them.
Yeah.
This is a full sugar crap. Well,
Gonna be burning hot too.
cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, okay.
Great
Oh, it's
first
sweet.
response.
That's sweet. I burnt my tongue on
Yeah,
it
me too. Now I've scolded. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. There you go. Boiling hot Pepsi. Like, it doesn't really change at all.
It looks like soy sauce now.
It's,
Do you
it's a
drink
motor
the
oil.
oil?
It looks like motor oil. It looks like it looks
I don't
like
think it's good to say.
soy sauce.
The goober will succumb to the Pepsi. I know
Wait,
it.
read this.
Garbage Time does not endorse the use of Pepsi Cola products as coolant substitute. The goober knew its fate when it entered the fleet. It's predicted to not last the year in this Pepsi enhanced state. We do not know the long-term effects of extended Pepsi exposure on combustion engines. Please use rated coolants for your application.
Oh, something.
See, I
has
want
to
to
go
see
wrong, but
now.
we're just
I want the
gonna wait.
Maximilian
We're
Dude
gonna
bowl of
see.
shame, but in the coolant. And
Crazy. Do we want to show everybody the wine? Or Gator wine?
we can. I can post it.
It is.
If you want. Here, I posted it. You don't need to search. Oh, well, second one there.
You know what goes great with everything?
Gator wine.
God, straight up, yes, right, it does.
This is Gator wine. Guess what it is?
Gatorade and wine?
Yes. It's specifically equal parts light blue Gatorade.
Light blue Gatorade?
And red wine, cheap, under $12.
Well, this is exactly what I need right now. Some electrolytes, some booze.
And it just
Not like anything I've ever tasted.
the confusion is so
The
pure.
more I'm drinking it, the more I like it. I gotta give it a 6. I like it.
Where now, Alma, where does this rate up there with like Riot Juice from Always Sunny?
Rye juice is in. Remind me, Rye juice again. It's Gatorade and grain alcohol, right?
Yeah, just grain alcohol. Just fuck it, and then you just drink that shit on a cold day at a sports game.
This is that Rye juice is Rye juice is a stronger version of Gator wine. Oh, he.
The Gator wine, boy. Okay, there's the stuff.
I didn't get to this part. Oh my god.
Oh, what can't you fix? You know what goes.
Oh, that's terrible. It fixes $12 cheap wine, so I mean, like that. There's a benefit. Okay, something more. I want to say educational. There's a froggy.
Frog.
Yeah, Frong. Specifically, Windows XP Frong.
Am I bad for not remembering this?
You're
It's
probably
fun.
wondering why you're looking at XP Solitaire right now. You're probably not wondering that hard because there is that frog there that was
Frog.
on the thumbnail. But you're looking at this now 20-year-old game right now because this is the first place that I ever saw this guy right here. This is Windows
sorry?
XP Frog. This image of him
How
is a
old did he say
default
this
profile
was?
picture on
20
Windows
years.
XP. One of the
XP
24
technically
default
older
ones
than
you
20.
Yeah,
Because
from.
XP came out in 2001.
From.
I'm gonna fossilize real quickly.
Yeah, I know,
Okay,
right?
see ya.
See ya.
can choose from. We all had our favorite. Mine was skateboarding guy. My dad's was chess image. I feel like chess image is just the default dad profile picture. A lot of these
Yeah.
profile pictures also
No, my dad
appear
had the
as
flower.
card backs on Solitaire. Sometime in
Is that
2005,
really your dad
I was
anymore?
watching my mom play Solitaire. I was not playing Solitaire in
What?
2005. That was a lot too advanced for me. Nothing's really changed, actually. But I was watching her play it, and I was sitting there, and I said to her, "Oh my god, what is that frog? I love that frog. How can I get that frog? Where is he from? Can I buy a plushie of that frog? I love him, mom, mother." And she looked, and she turned to me, and
Hyperfixation
she
frog.
said, "Maybe." And we took to eBay to search, but found nothing. We took to the broader internet to look. Windows XP Frog Stuffy. Windows XP Frog Toy.
Stuffy.
Where did Windows XP Frog come from? And other things. Nothing. My mom said, "I'm sorry."
What's wrong
And I
with
sat
son?
there with a clenched fist, breathing heavily through my teeth, and went, "Okay." And I went and I ate macaroni. But I never forgot about him.
Oh,
He's always
Canadian
kind of been in the
exposed. He's
back
got
of my
crap
mind.
dinner.
Whenever I would catch a glimpse of him anywhere, I'd always wonder,
Listen,
where is that
Canadians are
frog
fine.
from? And apparently, a lot of other people also wonder
it's
things
funny
like this.
whenever
Because
you
recently I
realize
saw
someone's
these two videos. Autumn
otherwise
by
they can, like,
Nation
mask
Squid
as
is a
American.
wonderful video where he hunts
I
down the
know.
origins of an alternate Windows XP background. Autumn. This video by Michael MJD on Bliss. This is one of the best videos I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
This
yeah, I
video
forgot.
almost
Pause
brought
this
a
real
tear
quick.
to my eye.
So the Windows XP wallpaper is actually a picture of a wine field in the middle of a horrible blight caused by disease.
Backstory.
Yeah, so like this is the field. This
It's
is
a
what it looks
vineyard
like
without.
normally. It's a vineyard because all the plants died, and so it resulted in what became the photo for Windows XP because a horrible blight was affecting those plants.
Hunter.
Anyway.
No.
Oh no.
All for
I
a Windows
know.
XP background. When you have a sec, definitely check these videos out as well after you're done this one. Both these videos are really, really good, and they got me thinking
watch the
about my
video
own
on the
Windows
Nintendo
XP mystery.
for
A
Windows
mystery that
XP.
I have been wondering about
Oh
for
my God.
literally my entire life now. So, I
Metroid
decided to
Prime
go
one.
on my own Windows XP adventure to find out what is this frog? Where is he originally from? Where did they get him? And of course, where can I get him? So, let's find out. This is the original frog image included with every copy
this
of
man's
Windows XP,
turtling
or
song
most,
background.
I think. This bitmap image is only 48 by 48, so it's very hard to tell any details, but from this image we can tell a lot of things. First off, I'm pretty sure that he is not computer generated in any way. This looks like a real frog of some kind. So somewhere out there does exist this real frog. So, my first instinct, of course, is to find out where Microsoft got this original image of our friend Frog. Most of the time, Microsoft sourced images for Windows from various stock websites, which makes sense. That's what most companies do most of the time when they need pictures. So, cool. We can probably find Frog image on one of these, right? Wrong! Mr. Frog is not on any stock image websites. He's not on any portfolios. There is no use of this frog anywhere else on the entire internet, is what I was thinking. Until I found this. Well, I didn't find it. This account on Twitter did. On April 22nd, 2021, Twitter user Windows Aesthetics made this find. A Russian news article from 2001 that talks about a lady's husband threatening to leave her if she didn't sell her duck collection of 20 years. What? That is so sad. I hate you, husband from 2001, but he and the rest of this story isn't important. What is important is the image they used on this article. What do you think it was? Maybe the husband? Maybe the what? It's the frog. A full scale, maybe not full, but a fuller scale, uncut version of our friend Frog. This is the first I could find in the 20 years that XP has been out of someone
I'm glad we all
finally using
caught
this
that.
frog outside of XP.
Why
This
is the
isn't the
frog
full image of
circumcised
Frog,
on Windows
obviously. It's still a lot
XP?
smaller than the original image probably is, and it's cut kind of weird, but it's still something. The tweet talks about the article, but doesn't go into much further detail than that. Where did this site get the frog? Also, where
Time
did
to
you
break
find
out
this
Google
article in
Lens.
Windows Aesthetics? This is an article from 2001. How did you find this out? Regardless, some way,
Okay, but it's
somehow,
not that
this
hard to
Russian
find old
site
articles.
somehow got access to this full or fuller image
it's the
of
Russian,
frog.
I don't know.
Where did they get this? Like I said, the site and the article are still up today, and they have a contact, so I reached out to them to see if they had any information about where they got this image 23 years ago, and got no response back. Not a lot of surprises there. The person who wrote this article and sourced this image probably doesn't even work there anymore. They might even be dead. Hopefully not, but they probably don't work there anymore. But still, this is crazy progress. We now have a 384... We now have a 334 by 334 version of the image, and from this version we can see a lot more details about him, like these little bubbles on his back, or that his eyes, the little twinkle in them, is from a light source and not printed on. I originally thought that this frog was some kind of stuffy or plushy or soft little toy frog, but I don't think that's
Soft
the case.
little
From this
toy
bigger image, this
think
looks
it's a
like
bath
a
toy,
rubber
honestly.
frog that you would
It
use
does
in a
kind of,
bath
yeah.
or in water. We can probably deduce what kind of rubber frog this is by just
course he's
finding
in the
the
water,
model
he's
of rubber frog that looks most like it. Which shouldn't be too hard. There can't be that many other rubber bath frogs out there, right? Wrong. There are a shit ton of other bath frogs. Some that even look extremely close to XP Frog, but are not. Some even look like they are trying to be XP Frog, emulating his smile and his general shape and innocence in his eyes. But again, with this higher res photo, if we examine the details, these frogs are not him. But I went through a lot of frogs.
I envy
I went
and
through
fear
hundreds
people who have
of rubber
frogtism.
frogs, thousands maybe.
Yeah,
not
right.
that many,
Can
actually,
you
I was
talk
kind of just
about this?
scrolling through them on my phone on the couch.
frogtism?
But I went through quite a lot.
I just
until
like the frog.
stumbled upon this.
Frog
Now you
meat.
might be thinking,
Frog
who the fuck is that? That's not XP Frog.
They're
Who
little
is this imposter
water
named
idiots.
Joseph. I don't know why he's Joseph. That's what I thought too. From this other angle, he looks like nothing more than a distant cousin of XP Frog. But take a look at the smile, the cheeks, the hands, and that bubbly rump. He looks a lot different under different
Flash.
lighting conditions.
The lighting
but this
is making
the
him look
same rubber
brighter.
frog as we can see in Windows XP.
Oh,
But
shit.
this is the same frog. This kind of breaks my entire world. Like I said, I always pictured XP Frog being
XP
some kind of
Frog.
plushie or something, and with the small ass 48 by 48 Windows XP image, you can't really
I
see
can
a lot
kinda
of
see
detail.
what
I
he's
always
thinking
pictured
about
the
here.
proportions of him being this. But regardless, this
If
is
that frog had
There is
felt
even another
fuzz,
shot
you
of
would
him
not
front on that is a lot more akin to the XP pose. So, where do we go from here? These images are from the stock website Alamy, and on any stock image website, it lists all of the details of the image. Its date, its
1999.
size, its megabytes, and most importantly, its photographer. A man named Gabe Palmer took these shots, and I assume owns
doxing
this
Gabe.
frog. I reached out to Gabe Palmer and asked him if he could tell me anything about this image at all. Do you have more pictures of him? Do you remember where you got him? Do you still have him? Would you sell him to me? I didn't say that, but I wanted to. Unfortunately, though, Gabe got back to me and he said that he took photos of a lot of different objects at that time and that he does not know where any of those objects are today, which makes sense. That was 20 years ago now, and he wished me luck with the rest of my search. Well, back to the drawing board. So here we are, 4
In
images
fairness,
of this frog, and no
why would he
closer to
remember?
obtaining him.
Yeah.
When I was a kid watching my mom play solitaire
Peop-
all of those years
people are
ago,
obsessed,
this
so it's
rubber
good.
frog is not really what I was imagining.
You asked
This
me
frog
what
that I
computer I
envisioned and
fixed
wanted to
to,
snuggle
like,
and hold
5
so
years
badly
ago on this day,
does
I
not
would not be able
exist.
to tell
If
you.
somebody
Right.
could make a plushie that looks exactly like this, please, that would be great. I would buy that. But currently, the XP frog that I once wanted to hold does not exist. So I think I'm okay with not tracking down this rubber frog. But I'm not done yet. I might have not been able to find this actual rubber frog, but I still want to know who took this picture of this rubber frog. If these guys could find the origins of their images, then how hard could it be to find the origin of this one? So, how do you find the origin of a picture like
Yeah.
this? Well, we're already kind of halfway.
Image
We have
origins
this
are
picture
hard.
from that Russian site. But where do we go from here? They did not respond to the email. You could obviously go a bit
Did you
deeper on
say I
this
would
article,
kill
find out who wrote
Yeah.
it, try and get into contact
Yeah.
with the site further somehow. But I don't really think anything's going to come of that. So I'm going to back up a bit and try and think a bit outside the box, or a bit outside the frog. Maybe. No, that doesn't really work. Nobody's
Outside the
found the
pond,
origin of this
dingus.
profile.
Oh,
But they
you were
have
so
found the
much
origin
smarter.
Of a lot of other ones from XP. I found this post by DeviantArt user Windows Aesthetic. Hey, wait a minute. That's the same name as the Twitter account that found the Russian article with XP Frog. Is this maybe the same person? I'm gonna say probably yes, maybe. But on this post, they have a download with a folder filled with full resolutions of Windows account pictures. Not just XP. They have Vista 7, 10,
like
and
AI
XP.
upscaled?
And
No.
Soccer ball, not Mr.
Soccer
Frog.
ball.
But even without XP
My
Frog,
brother
this
had
is
the
still
soccer
really,
ball.
really cool. These aren't AI upscales or any garbage like that either. These are real, original, full quality images of the profile
shit.
pictures. So where did they
Neat.
get these images? Conveniently, they have a README that explains all. It says that to obtain these, they used a variety of different things, like different programs, getting in touch with old Microsoft employees, and even going as far
I
as
make
searching through
Windows.
ancient stock photo CDs, some with tens of thousands of photos on them. I
God, I
reached out
forgot
to
about
Windows
stock photo
Aesthetics to
CDs.
ask them if they
Yeah,
have
they're all
any
probably from stock
information
photo
on
CDs,
the
though.
one profile picture that I really cared about. Anything at all that they might have come across in their search. They obviously don't have the full res version, but maybe they have something. They got back to me and said yes, they are the same person from Twitter, and that they've been on journeys very similar to mine to find a lot of different Windows images. This person also runs the Windows Wallpaper Wiki, which is a place that keeps track of all kinds of Windows images, like profile pictures, wallpapers, piece of cloth. So in running something like this, they obviously have quite the experience.
Might as well
tracking
just
down
download all
pictures
these and put
used
them
in
on my
Windows.
my
But
desktop
in the
now.
end of the email, they told me throughout all their efforts to find other Windows images, they have never come across any hint to the full resolution version of Frog. Fuck. So even
Have a
this
high-res
person who
MSN
found all
icon,
these
but no
other ones
from.
couldn't find Frog.
Unknown.
Damn, where do we go from here? That's just the thing. I don't know. I wanted to end this video, of course, with a big, oh, I found him, here he is, here's the full resolution, there he is, look at him, kiss him, mwah. But unfortunately, I don't have that. But I still wanted to make this video, because he is a big part of my childhood. I really do love this frog. And
Should you
even if
play
it's not me,
solitaire?
I really do
Yeah.
hope that one day somebody does
you not
find
play
the
the pinball?
original picture taken of my friend.
Pick up the frog is
That being
there.
said, if anybody watching this knows anything about this frog here, email me, send me a DM, come to my address and tell me. Don't actually do that. This isn't my address. This is Taco Bell. Thank you so much for coming with me on this weird ass video.
Maybe
I'm
that's
not
a good
sure
way to just
anybody
send
cares
put
about
out
this
an
frog
address
much
for
I
as a
do,
joke.
But thank you for coming
It's
along
just a
the
Taco
journey
Bell.
with me and trying to
I'm
find
at the
him
apartment.
anyways. Hit the
I'm
like,
at the Taco
hit
Bell.
the
I'm
subscribe.
at the combination apartment at Taco
hit
Bell.
the wheel that's underneath the video. What, you guys don't have the little wheel that you spin? That's weird. Your YouTube must be broken. Again, thank you so much for watching. And I guess I will see you in the next
So
one.
apparently there was a comment. Like, look at the comment. Like, we already have a pinned comment. I'm like, whoa. Although I didn't involve myself in the Windows scene, I am the person behind the Windows Aesthetics project, and I'm happy that my research
they
and
have an anime
archival
avatar.
continue. Perhaps one day the answer to the question "Who took Frog" will arise, even if it's buried deep in corporate archives. If anyone's curious what I'm up to, I'm involved with various preservation projects. Neat. I'm a trusted editor on VGMDB.
Please check their profile.
Isn't that the video game magazine did with?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be copyrighted.
I knew you would be trans!
That level of autism cannot come from a cishet person.
It cannot.
Wait, hold up. Let's keep
And
going.
That level of obsession with fucking XP of all things.
Follow.
Oh wow, they're 22.
They're baby.
And followed by Fammy.
Oh,
Baby.
what a post! You know what a post! What a post!
Space.
Go the fuck off, Queen. We love you here.
I want to see. Hold on. No, this isn't copyright. This is straight up. They're just. They made music.
Wait,
Yeah,
Nokia
like I do.
ringtone.
I need to hear this. Oh, Fammy Tracker, let's go.
Like something from my Super Nintendo.
It sounds like MDM music.
Sounds like something from my Super Nintendo. Positive.
Yeah, this is 7-8.
This person feels like oddly too young to like have experienced any of this technology when they were actually alive.
Of course not, but that's why they like it.
To be fair, I'm like that with the Super Nintendo, although it was my first console.
I want to know what this original song is. It sounds rad. Because there's another. Oh, I love this.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. This goes hard.
This is so funny.
It's so 2000s. I love this.
This feels like If the World Ends With You met the Mother soundtrack.
I feel like this is just some. No, this sounds like some idling music in neon white.
That's true. It does.
I just want to hear the original. I don't know why I can't find the original.
I love we have someone in the chat named Nuclear Train Engineer.
Hi, that's mine.
Oh.
I think he abducted a train tonight with like 500 passengers on it.
I know there's Nuclear Train Engineers.
Is it this one?
Nuclear Trains in fact.
Is it this one?
Mod.
Hold on. That doesn't sound right.
No.
And then that's the Razor, and we've already gone too far. What is that song? It's now going to bother me. Because it sounds too cool. We're really in some weird deep shit right now. If we're listening to phone ringtones to try and figure out where the hell they came from.
We're inheriting the autism.
I did that a long time ago.
It's okay, we love you for it.
The closest level to autism I have in regards to cell phones, like pre-smartphone, is like the Samsung Alias, I think. Alias 2.
Yeah, that was the most autistic cell phone I had.
Yeah. I saw that on the shelf at Verizon, and I was like, that's the one I want.
I had one.
Give me that one.
I had one.
I had one too. I left it at a fucking safe in DC on vacation.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how ridiculous!
Doesn't sound very Chinese, but you sound like songs from like Mario Golf on the Game Boy.
We're so deep in. I don't. Like, is it called dance? No.
A Stance to the Sugar Plum Fairy.
That's different. I need to know. I need to know.
I'm guessing that's just who it's credited to. There we go.
Unless what it is,
It's
like
Microsoft GS Wave table set.
River of Peace. Dance.
Oh, there it is. Yo!
Future jazz, baby!
This fucking compressed ass fucking album art of like the Siberian wilderness.
When did this album come out?
It was uploaded in 2020 or updated on 2020.
I can't type.
This is not gonna help.
2003!
This is Prime XP era.
Oh!
So, you know what's funny? The person who made that little Anime Tracker thing is, they were born a year before this album came out.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Or
This
the
is
same
so
year.
good. I like this person. Subscribe. I like this person's audio.
Amazing.
Great show reel. Anyway, wow, that was a jump. Okay. Oh, okay. I think this might be the last video for today because I feel like people are gonna fucking lose it. Hey, Brandon, do you remember the Novant Falcon?
The name rings a bell. I don't remember what it is.
All right, here we go.
Oh, now I remember.
This one's
The sex.
I have no comment.
it's a long video, but also it is.
Gonna need to put on
Greetings
his hat
and
for
welcome
this
to
one.
LGR Oddware, where we're
On
taking a look at
Netscape hat.
hardware and
Netscape hat.
software that is odd, forgotten, and
Too bad the
obsolete. And
successor
this
to
time,
Netscape is
it is
better.
the Novant
Okay.
Falcon, a haptic
wait,
feedback
before I go on
controller
my
for
tirade.
not just FPS games, but all kinds of stuff.
God.
Mostly FPS, though. Let's take a
I
look
love
at
the
it.
attachments just to 6.
All right, finally
just
taking a look
gun.
at this. The Novant Technologies Falcon, initially released in the latter half of 2007.
Y'all haven't seen this before.
Yeah, this
it's gonna go
Aperture
crazy.
Science-looking thing is a mouse input device
would probably be
alternative
cool to
with a
fuck
combination of haptics
Not
and
in a
force
section.
feedback. With the
Fuck.
former providing these kind of subtle
I meant in a
cues
cool
to
way.
feel textures and shapes, just subtle vibrations at your fingertips, plus the latter giving that kickback, the recoil effect, especially
like a big
pushing
fan
your
of, like,
hand and arm around
controller
in
games.
reaction to things
Yeah.
happening on screen. And yeah, they really did
wait.
build this
Man,
as
this thing
a
was like
full-on replacement for the
$200.
computer mouse as an input device for PC
Something
games,
like that,
and
right?
even down to the name Falcon.
Yeah.
$235.
chosen
Sweet
because,
God.
quote, a Falcon is a predator
for
of the
inflation, it's
mouse,
probably, like, over
according to CEO
$300.
Tom Anderson. No, not that Tom Anderson. This is a different one. And I gotta give a huge thank you to LGR viewer Andrew
so
for
weird that it's
letting me
just
borrow this particular
Yeah, it
unit.
just
It's
slumps.
got the
It's so
accessories we
flaccid.
need, and
It's so
working
gross.
Great. Even though it doesn't have the box or manual.
It's so
or the
gross when
CD,
it's not
that's
powered.
fine.
Is it
See
gross?
the
I
box
say it
with
looks
its prominent
depressed.
Novant logos
very
on there. and
Geiger-esque.
Yeah, Novant Technologies.
guess?
They were a company
It's like
founded in
Y2K Geiger
1999
technology.
in Albuquerque, New
HR
Mexico.
Giger.
And their whole thing was haptics-focused technology development, largely software from what I gather, in collaboration with other companies like the virtual
E-touch.
reality dental training
E-touch.
system, the Phantom haptic
feel when your
interface
girl
for
gets
adding
on the
3D
E.
touch to computers,
Call
and
that
the
E-touch.
E-touch, Sono, letting parents touch their pre-birth babies in ultrasound form. They also did a lot of contract work for organizations like Aramco, Lockheed Martin, Chevron, and Sandia National Laboratories, with that last one, Sandia, being where Novant founder and CEO Tom Anderson worked previously. Yeah, eventually they started selling their own bespoke devices like the Novant Falcon, and it was actually based on products by Force Dimension. Specifically the Omega,
feel
first
like this
introduced
would have
in
been something Nintendo
2003.
would have
You can
sprung for if it
see
was
the
cheaper.
similarity, I think, and in fact, Omega
I feel like this would have been
devices
more
are
a
still
specific
sold
arcade
today,
controller.
costing $20,000.
Oh,
and
God.
up. And well, Novant wanted to sell one
For
for
CAD
$100.
stuff, I
In a
don't
way,
think
making
this
it
is a horrible
kind of
idea.
a similar idea to the space orb, taking
Orb.
something from the
Orb
medical,
controller.
industrial, scientific community and then cutting it down for PC gaming. So yeah, Mr. Anderson worked
To be
with
fair, there's a
Force
lot of
Dimension
technologies that were
already
developed for
and
businesses
saw
that has been
potential
cut down
in
for
their
consumers, and it's
devices
worked out
for
fine.
PC
Yeah,
gaming.
but
a
not this
ton
one,
of work
though.
would have to be done to get
Yeah,
that
no,
down
this
to
is one of
cost,
those.
so they hired
God, that
Lunar
medical
Design,
interface is
and
wild.
that is an
As a
interesting
trackball.
company all in itself. They began in 1984, and they've done so much industrial design and engineering work for companies like HP, Motorola, Apple, Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, Sony, etc., etc. But yeah, in the 2000s, they were hired by Novant to simplify Force Dimension's designs, cost reducing it such an insane degree that it could somehow get to around $100, or at least that was the hope. With images like this of early prototypes revealed in 2005.
That looks
and then the next design
like a
that was much
Fallout
closer to
item.
the final product showing up at CES of 2006 and then E3 of 2006, letting people get their hands on it for the first time, leading to some interesting reactions from journalists and folks at these shows like GameSpot here.
You can feel what direction you're
Is that
being shot
Jeff?
from. You can feel the fur on a character. So really, lots of different applications.
Fur on a character. Hey, Tor, I know what you're thinking about.
Is that-
Use this for. Why don't you tell me?
2000s game
No.
journalism was horrible.
It took another
I was like,
couple
is that
years
Goose
before it
Tex?
actually hit the market though, and once it finally did, it cost $240.
And no.
Expensive.
That was directly through Novant, but if you were to get it at like Tiger Direct or whatever, I've seen that it was priced around $180, $190. We'll just say it was $200, and that was for the main bundle with the Orb grip and a mini games disc.
Grip.
Initially in silver and white in 2007, with this black and silver version, I think arriving in early 2008. And it wasn't long before they introduced this $20 add-on
controller.
pistol grip, which you could swap out the orb for and use that on it instead. As for a response from reviewers and owners once they finally got their hands on it, it was criticized for having very shallow mini-games included, limited third-party game support, a pretty steep learning curve using it as a mouse, flopping around all over a desktop while in use,
It is
and
kind of
a
a shame
high
that
price.
outside of a traditional gamepad or a mouse and keyboard, PC really hasn't gotten a ton of great alternatives.
Right.
That is supported, and I guess we got the
Steam controller, but that's it.
Was it profitable enough?
No, the ugly dude. You're considering spending $190 on a game controller.
I mean, people will do that now, but not many.
Not now for a mouse replacement.
Controller with pretty limited game support, so, as you can imagine, it was a hard sell for all those reasons. Plus, to really be sold on it, you just kind of had to try it.
You just had to
and
be
there were
there.
few places where you could actually do that. Not too many retailers carried it to begin with, and the ones that did, most of them didn't have demo units. Plus, this was
Mine did.
2008,
It was a
and
Micro
the
Center.
Nintendo Wii had come along. In the meantime, making motion control all the rage, and
You should
don't
just
need
buy a
pretty
Wii.
desktop device for
I
that.
mean, you could get a Wii for
So
only
it
like
wasn't exactly a huge market hit. In fact, I've kind of gathered that maybe more of them sold to medical, scientific, and CAD folks, which is interesting.
Honestly, this
because
looks
that's
more
kinda
of
what
a
it was
CAD
based on,
thing
but
anyway.
Obviously, being way cheaper and doing something very similar, you can see the appeal. But yeah, despite selling them for at least a couple of years, Novint wasn't long for this world. Their stocks
3 years.
dropped to less than 10 cents a share by late 2010 and went down to single-digit stock prices, were delisted sometime after that, and they just kind of disappeared. So it goes, and unfortunately, common outcome here on Oddware, but we'll see if it deserved any better than what it got. And one thing I do want to mention,
I really
I've
think,
got some
like-
breathing out my nose, is that this thing is actually heavier than I thought it would be.
It doesn't
Despite
look
how
like
much it slides around. Yeah, this thing actually weighs around 10 pounds, or 4.5 kilograms. And that is not enough. They did include this mouse pad like anti-slip mat at some point, which it helps, but it still slides around quite a bit, especially when it's powered up. And on that note, it is USB in
Type
terms of the
B.
connection to the computer, but it does
Good.
require an external power supply for all the motors, which look like this. By the way, I'm not about to take the one I have apart. It's not mine, but I just wanted to show the inside of this and check out that hexagonal PCB. Just nifty. And
Very
USB-A
nifty.
there. And then this is the power supply, at least the one that came with this one, 30 volts DC. Hefty wall wart to provide the
chunky.
force that this thing can put out, which is, by the way,
Very
8.9 newtons, or around 2 pounds of force feedback. Pretty substantial in terms of recoil, like it does the job. So speaking of which, it is as easy as just squeezing this little bit and changing out these pieces, which are called end effectors. And yeah, this pistol one is pretty spot on, as I think we'll see later with some FPSs, although not ideal for any number of other types of games like flight sims, for instance. I mean, there's no...
I think the problem with this is it doesn't have...
Exactly. This
Yeah,
doesn't rotate.
it doesn't do any rotate.
Do anything
That's.
but
I feel like that's part of the problem.
and Z. It's not a 6 degree of freedom thing. I also like how they
It's just a square movement. You
add
know?
the orange tip and end piece there, because you know, you don't want anybody mistaking this for a real gun when you're sticking up the local bank. But yeah, the whole thing is extremely cheap and hollow feeling. There's no interesting things going on with materials or the grip or really anything. The trigger is plastic and basically has no weight to it. It feels way less convincing than even that pistol mouse I covered. But you do get 4 buttons, the trigger counting as 1, and these other 3 here. And unfortunately, this is not ambidextrous. You just have them over here. So if you're, I can't even do left, but if you were, you don't get anything there for your thumb. It's just all there. I also wish the barrel was just slightly longer. It's so tiny. And some of these design pieces are interesting, like these grippy bits, as if there was a slide. There's not.
Barrel.
It's just a standard back end of a striker fire pistol. But you do have some grooves here for your fingers, and overall, it's actually quite comfortable. I don't mind it at all. And in fact,
Just Minecraft noise,
sight
just
mount or rail or anything, it's just about the right size, right? If you want to add a red dot sight to your plasticky Novin Falcon pistol grip, you can do that. It actually kind of works. Well, no, it was odd where we're going to do things as they were intended. So we're going to start out with the ball, the orb bit there, and get this set up with a Windows PC, sort of the time period, and give this oddity a shot.
It's so flaccid.
Alrighty, well, I've got it plugged into both the wall and the Windows XP build here, which yeah, I know a later OS would probably
nice
be more
wallpaper,
appropriate,
actually.
but for this section, I'm going to go with XP. And yeah, we have our choice
I've
of
dissected a
end
starfish as a child,
effectors,
it's
and yeah, you
nasty.
can see it is
Ew.
spot on. You got your RGB
Scary.
situation going there.
Yo,
And all you need
RGB.
to do is just
Ahead of its time.
there we go. That is that. And we still have to use a mouse at this point.
Oh, you
because
still
we
need
don't
to use
have
the
any kind of mouse emulation or pass-through going.
gonna
At the
set it
moment,
up, I think.
there's
This
really
all-
no feedback.
that
of
still sucks,
anything.
actually.
You can kind of feel it moving against the motors, but it is
Draw.
limp. So let's get some software going. And I came with a number of things in this
Me
bundle,
after
but
5
right now
beers.
I'm just going to do the test program. And you can see as I'm moving around, all the different encoder position sensors are detecting things, as are the buttons. So yeah, it is doing
how
what it's
prone this is
supposed
to
to.
drift all the
However, this is where it gets interesting. So we have
Depending on how those
motor
encoders are,
controls here.
potentially.
And yeah, if we do this, we have direct control
Assuming
over each
direct
of the
control.
axes, the motors here. It is quite the experience. We can reset and go all at once.
I ain't saying anything.
No comment. Anyway, our toy is working perfectly, so we can open up
God,
something
he really
else.
just
and
said
I'm gonna
toy
start,
immediately after that.
We have these different programs.
knows what he's
that let
saying.
you do things. I think the
He gets
first. We'll just go straight into it. I'm gonna do the
Also,
Falcon
love the
tutorial.
3D printed Duke bus.
Yeah.
I assume that's 3D printed.
Yes.
Oh, there's actually two.
Ooh.
We're gonna change up the view here. You can
Funny
capture going
tutorial.
so you can see what's going on. So yeah, this is the Novant Falcon tutorial. Kind of an enhanced version of the demo that they showed at trade shows back in the day before it came out. Press any button to continue, including buttons on the Falcon. And yeah, at this point it is going to be holding in place a little better.
Welcome to the Novant Falcon tutorial. The Novant Falcon lets you use your sense of touch to interact with your computer in a completely new way. Also, be sure that you do not let go of the Falcon grip while you are using it, especially when there are large forces, and keep all body parts other than your hand away from the Falcon's workspace during use.
Oh, the calibration's already off. That's great. Great. All right, that's better. Calibration can be a bit of a thing. Anyway, this gets us straight into the thing's party trick, so to speak. So as it is right now, I can see the little hand on the screen and where I am in real life, and it's uncanny. It genuinely feels like I'm just rubbing this ball. It's like I'm just like bouncing up against this ball right here.
You know,
with my
it's
hand.
no Steam Deck
It's
Vivaldi.
weird, man. It's a
kinda neat.
really cool.
It's very neat.
Immediately like, oh, I get it, kind of effect here. And then yeah, if you want to, touch some other balls, you can do that. There is a lot of balls to test. So here we have one that's a nice bumpy ball.
They're
and again,
balls of steel.
texture.
Balls of steel.
It's so weird, and you can go around it.
Or
it feels
Haptics
like
are
I'm kind of
genuinely
fondling
Haptics are some neat
this
shit.
thing. You know what? It just is what it is. Okay, I know what it sounds like.
You don't really have something
Don't
quite
worry
like
about
this
it.
until like the
But like,
DualSense.
that's the demo.
Kind of.
This
Yeah.
demo is about
Maybe
touching
HD
balls.
Rumble and the Steam
So,
controller to a
the next one
extremely
here, this is
lesser
a
extent.
fascinating one, the molasses demo, and it's like you can push your hand through it.
Oh.
It eventually gives. You can push it back out.
You could see the feedback on in
There's a genuine
in the
textured
camera
feel
view.
there. It's like gooey in the middle, and then
Like there's
It's
like
really
it gives
neat.
resistance. That's neat.
Of course,
The only
you're
downside,
already
really, I
seeing a
guess, is the
problem
fact
here
that
in
the thing slides.
even
so
with the grip
Yeah.
lessens the
mousepad-like
effect.
surface,
You
it
need
comes
to
like
like
this. The thing just slides.
you need to
around.
like glue it or like hold it like
bolt it down.
bolt it
It's not
down.
very
Yeah.
stable. It really needs to be like strapped down or something. And these grips that it has on the
Like
bottom,
either
they
a
don't grip any
clamp
better. They're much
onto
worse
your
and more
desk
slidey.
or like some
Sandpaper. Again, this one is
Screws.
it's
Honestly,
trippy. I'm not sure I'd really
could
call
probably
it
get away with a
sandpaper,
mic
but
mount.
there
I
is
just
like a-
realized he can't put his hand through it. There's
the
it's giving him
texture to it.
feedback.
And again,
That's so neat.
circling like this, it doesn't take but a moment for your brain to sort of think, oh yeah, like there's an object there in front of me. I can just imagine how this would be in like VR
this is like
or with a
a
3D
DualSense type
glasses and monitor kind of setup.
Ooh, magnetic.
The magnetic one is also
I've told
interesting
you,
because
that, like,
it pulls your hand in and sort of sticks to it.
has,
So it's
like-
like, we do it really light here.
like,
Yeah,
if
like
you're
that.
using, like, some of the electric weapons and held
Oh
items too, you
man,
have, like, kind of a
this one
shock
also is just
haptic
awesome. The
feedback
rubber,
effect when
it's
you
like
fire the weapon.
you
It's
know,
really cool.
smushing into a
And charging up.
dodgeball or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, honey. Again, sort of a variation on the molasses thing.
Ooh.
And yeah, no texture at all. It's just,
Ball.
just a regular old ball. There you go. That's what you got for the
Cool
demo
ball
tutorial
demo.
thing. Very much something that you would mess
Then
around
it
with
just
at a trade show.
limps to the
And that's
ground
because that's what that
again.
was. I did also come with a number of games, or really many games, and you can open those.
It really
individually.
needs to have like a
What I
safe.
wanted you to do was use this nVent program. You're not going
Maybe
to
they
find any
just didn't
updates.
want
Don't even
to,
try.
like,
Yeah,
they wanted it-
nVent
it's like
was
a
their
free drive,
kind
and
of
then just, like, a system
software
reference
loading.
Oh look,
front end,
Haptics
but
Life too.
Not only
This
loading
is the
software,
worst
but
fucking loader I've ever
connecting
seen
to
in my entire
their
life.
own,
Holy
I guess their own
shit.
servers. It was almost like their version of Steam, and you could buy
Steam.
different games to play.
It's
on
trash.
your
It looks like a
Falcon.
Flash
So
garbage.
I mean, there's all kinds of other things in there. You've got
Game
leaderboards
blog.
and message boards and multiplayer connections and like offers and whatever. I don't know. They were trying things.
Earn
You can
$50
select
for
from the
beta
games that it came with. But I'm
That's
just
a
gonna
lot.
go and individually.
So there's a bunch of stuff for the like.
That feels better to me. So let's
I
just
want to
go off that
skip
before.
ahead
Starting with 3 point.
because it's just a.
I actually have not played any of these.
Yeah, some of the bundle mini games like.
See if I can just bunt it.
Monkey baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, they really expect to like force. Oh, that's gonna cause
That is
damage.
a bad call.
That's such a.
Considering how insecure this device is.
I mean,
to your
what?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
This is weird.
Oh, this is especially weird for.
Do nothing.
I feel like.
Oh, this one's definitely weird for something that doesn't have pitch and yaw.
Look, I like
This
force
is like,
feedback or whatever, but this is
throwing it at the wall.
certainly no better than happening
they
on
have
screen,
bowling.
and that's not what you do when you play bowling. You don't play bowling by moving forward and do this. Were these made by Head Games? Because seriously, that's the vibe with like all of them, and I mean that in the most disrespectful way possible.
Bowling would come out like a couple years after this product.
No.
Oh God.
Before actually.
Oh, that's even worse. I wonder if there was any inspiration or if it's a coincidence.
Those
Anyway,
suck.
those
the
suck.
Home Run Shootout was probably Smash Out, whatever, was probably the best one just because it was so simple. You literally just move left and right with the tiniest little bit of up and down. But it makes sense. That's the most restricted one. There's a very controlled space of simulation going on. Same with the ball demo itself. This right here is probably the most impressive thing because it's sort of matching what I'm doing with my hand in real life versus what's going on screen. Like it feels like I'm rubbing up against this bumpy ball. Thankfully, though, we also have third-party game support, which was a big part of their strategy, especially going forward. Like, I know they were trying to make some of their own games, but if they were anything like
They
those
literally
games,
have a Steam.
I don't want to play them.
Verification.
But yeah, with the FGen manager here,
That's
this is supposed
really
to let you,
cute.
apply some of these forces or add them to games that don't have them. So yeah, you can get the different buttons on the Falcon and remap them to like keyboard keys or mouse controls. Unfortunately, I have not been able to get this to work at all, and I don't really know what's up with that.
Oh,
we just get this entry point not found
It's missing
thing.
some
And I've
DLL
tried some
file.
different versions of drivers, and none of them are supporting the ability to use this just kind of as a regular mouse with whatever game
It
you
doesn't
want.
work
And
with
the
a
games
mouse.
that
We
do
can't find the
officially support
drivers.
this, like Half-Life 2. This version I have of Half-Life 2 here, this is just the original retail release, which doesn't support this. They updated it later on, but yeah, you gotta go on Steam, and Steam on Windows XP is no longer a thing. I don't even think it works on like Vista or 7 or even 8. Steam just keeps removing support, which is proven to be really irritating for me testing things on LGR. So I'm going to attempt to get this working on a modern system
because
with
of
Steam.
Chromium.
See how that goes.
Like embedded Chrome. Steam is kind of.
And we're back with annoying Windows 11. And after a
transition,
bit of distraction from the LGR Birds feed,
Yo,
yeah,
bird
had
stream.
bear
Yo, a
come by
bear.
and take down one of the bird feeder poles. So that's
Waiting
fun.
for lion
Little guy
and
there,
tiger.
it's easy to scare him off. Anyway, I am happy to say that this was so easy to set
Oh, it works on Windows
up. With
11.
the right driver,
Crazy.
the mouse cursor is moving around, and we are now able to use this as a mouse. Thankfully, there are
that
lots
it's
of
better
archives of this
supported in
thing,
modern
and I
Windows
just
than
used the
XP, when it was actually
4.0.28.
designed.
Blah blah blah, whatever the latest Falcon driver was, and it worked straight away on Windows 11. So very happy to see that. And we can still use the regular mouse if we want to, but we also have this. And I gotta say, it doesn't feel too bad. And when it kind of gets to the edge of what it can do, it just sort of keeps on going, scrolling, treating this like a track point nub, really, or a really old
Oh,
trackpad
sweet,
where
a
you get
nub.
the finger to the edge of it and it just keeps going.
I love
And like I said
nub.
earlier, you can set this up, have these buttons do different mouse buttons. So we've got left click, middle mouse button, right mouse button, and then this thing called G Cube. Like a notepad here, you can see the text. Then you go that way, they go that way, go that way. Yeah, it just enters different keyboard keys. You can set that to really anything you want. Auto centering is also more or less working as it should, I think. And it's remembering how to stay calibrated way better than it was on XP. So yeah, I think having this FGen manager and some newer drivers is really helping things out. So let's try some games. Starting with, of course, we got to do Half-Life 2.
So yeah, this actually
in
had
2009,
official
I believe.
Half-Life support.
And, I mean, none of this. We can't have that. We got to go with the pistol grip. And it very much works the same. It's just now it's got left click here and right click middle.
I'm
mouse
surprised it
over
has
here,
such
G-cube
live support for
toggle.
hot swapping.
And yeah, we also have in the options a section here labeled Falcon. So
Amazing.
force, master scale, recoil forces, got that turned all the way.
Very
And a bunch of
specific.
other different scale,
Very
stiffness,
cool.
and
Valve never
sensitivity
felt the desire
settings.
to patch
Fairly
that
early
out.
versions of this could work with a mod called Haptics Life 2, but I've never been able to find that. So anyway, just glad to get this new version going. And you can see it's pretty much what you'd expect. And immediately things like jumping around, you can see reacting. And
The controller's reacting to
forces and things. Moving left and right. It
That's
swings
neat.
around like that. And then of course shooting.
I can sort of see
Nice
it,
little bit of recoil.
but I can't.
It changes
Can't
with
really
every
tell.
weapon. So you move up to something like the 357 and
Oh wow.
there's a proper kickback.
Oh, that's cool.
Really cool.
That's
Again,
really
as
cool,
mentioned
though.
Earlier, it can do up to 2 pounds of force, and it feels like it.
Especially when you're like sort of not expecting
Nothing
it
like a real
out
357,
of like a video game, but I
you
like
know,
that.
like a lower
Yeah,
32 or
it's like-
whatever. It's
Again, kind of like how I feel about the
quite-
dual sense of
quite
like just, it
enjoyable.
feels
And with
good
things
to
like the
have
crowbar,
it
you get this like
react
downward
to what's in
kind
the
of
game and
motion
more
like
precisely
this.
than just a rumble.
Oh,
It's immediately so
No, there are
much
some games
better
that have done that. Like there's
than
games
those
like
demos.
one where like
Oh yeah,
allies is
going up
dying,
against things, pressing up against it. It's,
CPR and
look
you
at it,
feel
it's
the
trying to rip
rumble
the
as the
tape
heartbeat
off down
fades.
there.
But that's like a standard rumble.
So much force, it's great. All right, head crab zombies, let's go. Let's see. Oh yeah.
Oh.
That feels so great.
The live recoil is so
This
cool.
aiming, yeah, like going to the edge thing definitely takes some getting used to, but it's certainly not
Probably why
unplayable.
Valve
And
maybe
like
gone with
the trade-off, or you know,
trackpad
the
style
upside
design
is
for
that you get to enjoy this just magnificent amount of recoil.
Maybe.
Now here's where it starts to get a little bit funky sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't know what to do with centering. Like that should be centered, and now it's not anymore.
See, there's the
It's
drift
just
is
supposed
that
to
you're talking about, I
go
guess.
back out and then
I
in
think that might
again,
just
and then
not
it
necessarily
usually
be drift
gets
to the sensors. I think it's
centered calibration.
Dead zone?
There's no
Back where
easy
it should be.
center
It's
dead
a little
zone,
weird.
Yeah.
I love that.
Firing at nothing because it's
Let's
fun.
see, let's
Love the
try some of these other
captions.
things. We got the pulse rifle.
It's lightly shaking the desk, I
Crossbow.
like.
Ooh, that's a good thunk. How do I right click? Let's see. There we go. Oh yeah.
God, look at his hand.
Even like putting the next bolt in there, I can feel chunk chunk. Like it's just.
Oh.
This works so very well. Oh yeah, like even
It's
yeah,
not
throwing
just
a
like
grenade
a
was just
binary
like
translating the
it felt like
haptics
I
from
was
the
actually
controller
throwing.
version.
Look, it's like he's he throws a grenade and like the mount and the Falcon makes like a
caressing
gesture.
bowling ball. It was just so
kinda
strange.
neat.
Those were just unfortunately made. Whereas this, oh yeah, this feels like what it was made for.
That
Even though
recoil's
it
crazy. I
literally
love it.
wasn't made for it.
Half-Life
But they
was not made for
found the
ultra
right
wide, as
use
we can
case.
see here.
First-person shooters.
At least this
Another
view
one that
model
is
wasn't.
absolutely no surprise, is awesome, is Portal. This is so appropriate because this looks like something from Aperture Science, but yeah, this one has even more exaggerated effects for just moving around, which is quite fitting.
Funny
considering
jumping.
This is sort of a first-person puzzle game with a lot of jumping and acrobatics. It's pretty awesome, and I love this here. Like when you pick something up, it has weight to it. Like,
Oh, neat.
it's really, really believable. Even just picking up these little coffee cup pieces or a clipboard or whatever. Yeah, like there is legitimate weight. It's so
The feedback
cool
is
feeling the
neat.
physics of this game. Oh, this is gonna be real heavy. Oh yeah, that.
See, that feels like something
That
I'd
is
want to own
nuts.
just to play
Oh
these
wow.
two games. If I was
Oh, totally.
It's neat. This is neat.
Actually, I'm kind of curious now that I think about it, because this was all functionally the orange box.
Does TF2 support
Yeah.
this? From the TF2 forums, vids on the top link, the Reddit link. Go up.
Thanks.
Oh, Link rot gets us again.
Hold up. Because, like...
Hey, this is Tom Anderson, Novant CEO. I'm Tom Novant on Novant's message
Oh my
boards.
god, it's from the CEO.
So one of the most frequently asked questions we get from core FPS gamers is, does the Falcon allow you to play as well as a mouse in online games against
Oh my god, it is him.
This is actually
incredible.
Some video from Team Fortress 2, the Mario Kart level.
And it's from, like, the fucking...
He's playing Mario Kart!
He's playing on a community server.
So for an average gamer, it takes about 10 or 20 hours to become.
I wonder how much this dude...
He even got a... He even has Falcon as a clan tag.
Mouse. Really good players can take a little bit longer, pro level players. Myself, I'm personally much better with the Falcon than the mouse, and I created this video to show how the Falcon's used in online multiplayer games.
This is not...
At the time I'm making this video, I've got about 15 hours of scout.
Would you say this is pretty good for 14 years ago?
So I'm not a pro, but I can hold my own using the
This is what TF2 was 14 years ago.
Team Fortress 2 session in
No
the Mario
hats,
Kart
thank
level.
God.
It's a great level to do this type of video. It's really fast-paced, aim's important, controlling your view and directions important.
He's making shit up. He's playing on the 4chan map. Like, come on.
The Scout's really a kind of a fast-paced class as well, so I thought it would do well to show both aim and
No More Heroes
just
right in the
general
background.
Yeah, sure is.
It's an all-crit server as well, so you can see when you hit someone, you see the little green flash up, so that helps with the video.
Wait, I just recognized the server he's on.
Okay, so that helps with the video too. Do well to show
TFTF. Yeah. 242 Furious.
both aim and just
This isn't 240 though.
No, that's the name of the...
I know.
It was a specific... Yeah, there we go.
He was on that Mario Kart server.
He was on this Mario Kart server.
Maybe not that exact one, but...
It probably... No, it probably was, because it was this...
It's an all-crit server as well, so you
It's
can
a
see
joke server. Oh, hey, look, there's the footage.
the spot. So it gives you this really precise control in general.
I can't believe we actually got footage of
like
this.
he's just using
that
it
they
for
don't screw
mouse
up your aim, you know, which you
But
can
he's...
see in this video.
No, but, like... He's getting feedback from it.
With the
This
Falcon,
is
you
giving
also
me
feel when you
flashbacks
bump
to
into
when
a
I would
wall,
watch
or when you
videos
land
like
from a
this on the
fall,
Steam
when there's an
controller back in
explosion,
the
when
day.
your weapons reload, but none of those screw up your aim when the forces are tuned the right way.
Yeah, no, he's getting feedback from it.
Interesting. Mr. City.
I feel like I need to, like, download an old archive of 2011 or early 2000s TF2 maps just to show people what they were.
I mean late 2000s.
Late 2000s, yeah.
Oh, he does have a hat, actually.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, that's birthday mode. This is when items did exist, but not a ton of hats. Or hats did not exist, but a bunch of alt weapons did. But, like, he has feedback, so it works.
Portal gun itself, right? So, oh, yeah, it follows the recoil trajectory of the gun. So, you know how it kind of moves over to the left. It's genuinely doing that a lot. Oh, that is like about the most
recoil
I've
seems
felt
fun, though.
anything so far. Wow. Okay, so as an example here, right? So let me just use the regular mouse. Nothing holding it back. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like, okay, we'll move up against it. Oh. It's
Like, I guess we knew it was
punched with a
capable of doing
2-pound
that.
punch.
The warning was make sure you're holding on to it when it's doing its thing.
Feel,
Because otherwise it's just gonna, like,
even more so, at
whip
least for
around,
first-person
you know?
shooters, than something like the Sidewinder. As much as I love those joysticks, it's that connection of the feel of this with what you're seeing in the game, and that almost one-to-one or close to it feeling. You know, it's like that gun mouse that I covered. As silly as that was, that felt great just because it felt in your hand close to what you were seeing on screen. But that had no feedback at all. This having such a kickback is beautiful. Unfortunately, though, that's where we start getting to the negatives, because this only supports a handful of games for what it calls a F-Gen Gold, and this is a game that's been fully made to or fully patched to support every feature of this, all the different force events and in-game interactions and all that kind of stuff. There's F-Gen Silver, which isn't nearly as much going on, and then F-Gen Bronze that has limited effects. Basically, you're just using profiles. Like, for instance, I've installed one here that they made for Crysis 2. And then you use these script files to create your own and just sort of program what you want the game to be doing. So different effects for firing and recoil and different amounts of haptics for holstering or start shooting, stop shooting, hitting an object, whatever.
Oh, look, it's XYZ vectors.
That kind of thing. So you either have to program these yourself, or you could download either community-made patches or official patches.
Supports.
They're less so patches, really, than they are just pre-made scripts that go into this F-Gen manager. Either way, it does add some support to games that were not specifically designed to use this.
It does seem good for like single player, probably.
Yeah, not nearly as engaging.
It's still interesting.
Like Half-Life 2 or Portal, which again had full support built in. So these are just sort of generic feedback effects. You don't get like the movement of your hand and the mag going in there when you're reloading or anything. But the effects that it has built in that it can make use of, again, you can put these effects in any game effectively. effectively. Yeah, it's not bad. That pistol feels like a pea shooter, though. I don't know why it's so weak. Rifle's not too bad. Definitely satisfying in full auto. Again, though, the connect of what's happening in your hands versus on screen is so good. I mean, just go with the same kind of stance as what you're seeing there. And
I can imagine that just seems really good, though.
I just think it's great. This is such a cool device for games like this. But yeah, the fact that you have to create your own profile for every single game that's not supported, which is like 99% of games, or just kind of deal with the generic Windows mouse emulation like this here. So yeah, it's just working as a regular mouse. You have 3 mouse buttons, and that fourth one for doing whatever, and that's about it. So, not ideal for real-time strategy, of course. You don't even have a scroll wheel kind of control on here, so I'm having to use the regular mouse for that. But yeah, like if you wanted to, you could play it like this. Yeah, there's just a specific few games or types of games where this really makes sense to use with, especially with the pistol grip.
I wonder
even
if
with the
I
ball
could beat
grip.
a
First-person shooters,
StarCraft with
that ended up making the most sense with this controller, and it's obvious why, I think. But yeah, like racing games, you really want to control it like this or with this, or even flight games. This is not a joystick. This would be kind of terrible for those. And again, those poor demos, or really the mini games. The ball demo was fine because it was so simple, but all those mini games it came with, they really did not paint this in a good light.
Those demos were very
really
just
the fault of those mini games.
XY
FPS games. That is an entirely different story.
I would use it as a drawing stylus. I think it'd be kind of cool.
The way
actually, as a 3D modeling tool. Oh wait, that is what it's meant for.
Like any of the weirdness of moving around is mostly negated by how good the recoil and impact and just environmental feel of games in first person. This thing is just great for that. Well, that's about it for this episode of Oddware and the Novent Falcon.
Thrust.
A genuinely impressive and enjoyable device to use, and a real feat of cost reduction, getting this thing down to the area that it was, but also an unfortunate dose of reality when it comes to marketing, getting the word out there, and getting enough support from third-party developers. As enjoyable as all the first-person shooters are with this, and it is fantastic, it really doesn't do anything for that kind of minute manipulation of objects that I think this thing is extremely good at as well. Like, feeling that bumpy surface of that one ball demo is so cool, and there's just nothing like that in any of the first-person shooters I played. It feels like it really needs like a first-person adventure game or puzzle kind of thing, like a Myst or Abduction or The Witness or What Remains of Edith Finch, one of those kind of things, where you have just all kinds of things in the area to pick up and look at and inspect and explore.
Edith mentioned.
And add together. I mean, like, imagine going around kind of a Myst situation where you're physically moving around puzzle pieces or sliding bricks
Actually played
or
this dim when I got
feeling
stuck on the
around
first puzzle 'cause
inside of some sort of thing to like grab something that you
Small
can
brain.
feel but you can't
Aw.
see, or levers, and just there's so many things that you could do that I don't feel, or at least nothing that I've seen, takes advantage of. Yeah, just like looking through a list of supported games, either officially patched with scripts or fan-made scripts, there's just not much in that way other than like Penumbra. There's some of those that had like a Hapdex edition, as they were called, and that was supposed to support this, but I don't know
My phone
how
crashed.
in depth it went. I tried my versions of Penumbra, that didn't work. The Steam version didn't work, so don't know. Either way, I'm glad that I got to try this thing out for a bit before I send it back. And it's just got me thinking, like, what would have happened if this continued to evolve and get more support and had a version 2 or whatever, especially with VR? The possibilities are crazy. I've seen some videos where people get this working with some modern VR things, and that seems awesome.
You could touch
too.
some
Anyway,
virtual
this is one of the
3D
more
orbs.
intriguing and genuinely enjoyable bits of
Wow.
Oddware I've had in a while. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at it with me.
So
And if
neat,
you had
right?
one of these back in the day,
Oh, hey, look,
perhaps
there's the
you
TF2
still do,
support.
Let me know your own experiences. I'd be curious what you thought. Or just let me know what you thought about the video in general. I hope that you enjoyed. Regardless, there's always more stuff here in LGR in the works for the future, so stay tuned. And thank you for watching.
And thank you guys for watching.
No problem.
I think, yeah, it's the end of the day. We should go to sleep. Let's get out of here.
Sleepy time.
Sleepy time. Well, okay. So, long story short, thank you guys for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Thank you to my guests, Guesty, and Boyandon. You two are always lovely. I love you having you guys around.
Thank you. It's always nice to be around.
Of course. And so I think tomorrow's stream might be, it's either going to be the Mecha Break, or
Open beta yet?
or TF2. It really depends. Because I might be able to hang out with some friends then. So that's probably, that might be what we do. What I'm going to do. Not sure yet. We'll figure it out when we go. See, it's super late, so let's see who could send you guys over to. I have an idea. Let's send you guys over to Lumi. Very cute. Luminously. All right. That should be it for the rest of the day. Make sure you guys save before you go. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
So, like, the bit is that we always talk during the end of this. I'm not sure saying what, though, but it's always funny.
I had a Chipotle burrito tonight. That thing was so messy. It fell apart more than my life. And you know what? Quite frankly, I think that's how I like my burritos.
I stopped it when you said